A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Well, the cast of the charity play in which Jane is rehearsing the part of the maid was treated to some unexpected drama. Mr. Lewis, husband of Irene Lewis, who plays the leading role, suddenly appeared at rehearsal to force his wife to give up this play acting. In the excitement, 2 shots were fired. This episode takes place later that evening in alternating scenes between the Ace's bungalow and Mrs. Lewis's apartment. But first at the Aces, where we find Jane, Mr. Ace, and Marge. Listen.
Well, I can't stand this any longer. I know I promised I wouldn't tell this, but I just have to.
What's the matter?
Well, wait till you hear what happened this morning.
What?
Where? At rehearsal? Yes, I gave my word I wouldn't tell. We all did. But, well, I've always thought my word wasn't very good, and this proves it. Because I've just got to tell somebody.
What are you raving about? Look at you. What are you so excited about?
Well, wait till you hear this. But first, you've got to promise not to breathe a word of this to anybody.
I promise. What is it?
You too, dear. Cross your fingers and hope to die.
Yes, I cross my fingers, Jane.
All right. And that goes for you too, Marge. Dumb's the word.
Yes, dumb's the word. What is it, Jane?
Well, it all started this morning at the rehearsal. Irene, that's Mrs. Lewis, you know. She plays Mrs. Weatherby. Well, she and Mr. Cooper, he plays Mr. Weatherby, they were rehearsing the scene. I was standing outside, back of the door, waiting for my cue. Well, all of a sudden I heard 2 shots, like a gun.
Shots like a gun?
Yes. And I looked out, and it was a gun.
Was there shooting in this play?
No, not in the play, in the rehearsal. It was Mr. Lewis, Irene's husband. He was standing in the audience shooting a gun.
What?
He was shooting a gun? What? Jane?
Well, wait till you hear. Well, then I heard the gun, I heard something drop. I knew it was Irene. Before I even turned around, I knew it was Irene. So I ran over to her and picked it up.
Picked it up?
Picked what up?
The lampshade that fell down.
Oh, then it wasn't Mrs. Lewis that...
No, but it was the next thing to her. If she had been standing this far over...
What about the other bullet?
What other bullet?
Yes, you said there were 2 bullets.
No, 2 shots.
But that would be 2 bullets?
Dear, I couldn't stop to count bullets at a time like that.
Oh, you could?
Jane, tell us. Was anybody hurt? What happened?
Well, I'll never forget that minute if I lived to be as old as Miss Kirkland. There we were, Mrs. Lewis, Mr. Cooper, Mr. Hamlin's director, and I. And there in front of us was Mr. Lewis and the gun, both smoking. He had a cigarette in his mouth.
Oh, will you tell us what happened? How can you sit there like this?
Now, hold your horse, dear. I'm trying to tell you everything. It was just that second we stood there without moving that I remember so well. It scared me so that I was just about to faint, and I would have, only I didn't want to miss anything.
Oh.
And that's when I ran over to Irene. She just stood there like paper on the wall. She just couldn't move. And I said, Irene, are you dead? And she said, no. And I looked at Mr. Hamden, and his face was as white as your shirt, dear. Whiter. That should have gone out in the laundry today,
Jane,
dear.
will you
Jane,
please?
go on. What happened? What did Mr. Lewis do?
Well, he turned around and just walked out. Without even a goodbye, or are you hurt, or anything. Then Mr. Cooper suddenly said, look, Irene, you're hurt. And we all looked, and there on her shoulder we saw red. She was hurt on the shoulder.
Well, was it bad?
It was bad enough. Well, you should have seen the excitement. Bringing water and smelling salts and picking me up and putting me on the bed over there.
Picking you up?
Yes, that's when I fainted.
Why, Jane.
You fainted?
Well, who wouldn't? That's the first time I ever saw anybody shoot a gun, especially at me.
But you're all right, aren't you?
Oh, now, yes. But when I saw the way Irene was nearly killed.
Well, is she
How about
all
her
right?
shoulder?
Oh, well, it's all right now. Mr. Cooper said it was just an artificial wound.
An artificial wound.
That's what he called it.
Well, what did they do about it?
Well, Mr. Cooper did everything. He was marvelous. If a person ever gets shot, they should have him around the house.
Isn't that awful?
What did Mr. Cooper do? And how about Mrs. Lewis?
Well, Mr. Cooper had to tear her dress at the shoulder. Oh, it was a shame, too, because it was a beautiful dress. It was a dark green with
Who
sort of a
cares
stripe.
about her dress? Is she all right? Is it serious?
Oh, well, it is now after he takes to that, but, he was marvelous. He gave her first aid, huh? Oh, I wouldn't say first. I guess he's done it before.
Oh, how bad is she hurt?
Well, she has a bandage on top of her shoulder. Not very big.
Oh, I imagine it was just a scratch, huh?
Well, not exactly a scratch, but it's not very bad.
Well, what happened? How about this Mr. Lewis? Did he get away?
Yes, like I told you, he just walked out. Well, after we saw Irene was all right, that's when I really got mad. Imagine him getting away with a thing like that. Who does he think he is that he can go around shooting his wife, Anne Lampshade?
Well, he's not going to get away with it, is he?
Didn't they report it to the police?
Oh, no. That's why we all had to promise not to say anything on account of the scandal and the play. It's a charity play, and all the society people are going to be there. They can't have a scandal like this. You know how gospel travels.
Oh.
We're not supposed to say anything about it, Mr. Hamden said.
Oh, Mr. Hamden took charge.
Yes, he's the director.
Oh.
The play's going on just the same.
Oh, sure, like Mr. Hamden said. The play must go on, he said. We can't afford to let this get out, he said. And that's when we all promised not to say anything about it. Well, I just couldn't sit here without telling somebody what happened.
Well, Jane, you did have a day, didn't you?
Did I? Well, I'll never forget this if I live
Well,
to be as
is
old.
Mrs. Lewis going to be able to play the part all right?
Oh, well, that's the fly in the oatmeal. Yes, she is.
Well, you don't seem very happy that she's all right, Jane.
Well, I'm happy that she isn't hurt bad or anything like that, but for the first minute, before I fainted, it kind of just flashed through my mind that maybe I'd play the part after all.
You?
Yes, me. I'm the understudy. That's what flashed through my mind, and I guess the excitement of thinking that I'd play it or something, that made me faint. Don't you think that was it?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Of course, I didn't expect any shooting or anything like that. I just thought in case you got sick. You know, nothing serious. Something maybe like intentional flu or something like that.
Intentional flu.
Well, it happens sometimes, but I don't suppose it'll be my luck because she's already told me she's going to be all right. That's the first thing she said when I asked her how she was, and we'd all went home.
And you're sure you're going to be all right for the play, Irene?
Of course I will. It's only a superficial wound. Look.
Yes, I see. But can you move your arm freely?
Of course I can. Martin, you're not trying to talk me into quitting, are you?
Quitting? Heaven forbid. I've worked too hard directing this play. But I want to make sure that you're going to be all right.
I will be all right. Good grief, you sound like that Mrs. Ace, almost daring me to be.
Oh, you know I don't feel that way. I'm depending on you to make this play the success I hope it's going to be.
I won't let you down.
Have you heard from,
Ned? Well, I called him up, Martin.
You called him up?
Yes, I phoned him only an hour ago. I was worried about him.
He wasn't worried about you, was he?
He's not in any condition to worry. I found him where I thought he'd be, at his club.
His club?
Yes, in the bar, of course. I tried to tell him that I was all right and that we were all going to forget what happened this morning, but he said he wasn't going to forget it. In fact, he still talked a little incoherently of keeping me from appearing in the play.
He better not try it. If he does, I'll report this whole thing, scandal or no scandal.
I told him that, but he doesn't seem to care. He says he doesn't give a hang what happens to him. Martin, I think he loves me terribly.
I can understand that.
Thanks, you're so sweet.
The only thing I hope is that you made it clear to him that he's to stay away from you until after the play.
That's what I tried to tell him.
Does he understand it?
Yes, he understands it all right, only...
Only what?
I don't think he approves.
Approves or not, he's got to stop bothering you. It's only till the day after tomorrow. Once the play is on and over, you can do what you like about him.
And there's plenty I must do. I've neglected him terribly. You know, it came to me this morning when I saw him standing there in that deserted theater, brandishing that gun.
Irene, you're not going to desert me now, are you?
No, of course not. What kind of a trooper do you think I am?
Good. That's the spirit.
Only when this play's over, well, I think this one will be my last.
Well, of course, I think you're foolish. With your talents, Irene.
Yes, I know, but there's my husband.
Yes, there's your husband.
Well, that's my problem, not yours.
My problem is to get this play on. It means a lot more to me, Irene, than I've told you. If this goes over, I think I can sell it to an important producer. It means quite a lot to me.
Oh, I didn't know.
I didn't want to tell you. I thought it might make you nervous.
On the contrary, I'll do my super best.
Thanks, Irene. Now you see why I insisted this affair be hushed up and that you go on in the part.
Of course, and don't you worry about me.
But I'm worrying about this husband of yours. I hope he stays clear of the theater for the next couple of days.
I hope so, for your sake, Martin.
I don't understand is what all the shooting was about.
Yes, Jane. Did Irene say why her husband did it? Well, I asked her that, but she kind of hummed and hawed, and I think she told me a couple of little white lies. What did she say? Oh, she said he hasn't been feeling well and things like that. But I could read between the lies.
Between the lies?
Yes. I think it's because he doesn't want her to be in the play.
Oh, he doesn't want her to be in it?
No. Well, does a husband have to shoot his wife to keep her from acting?
I never thought of that one.
Oh, but he did. And I put two and two together from the different things I heard. I heard you tell Mr. Cooper that Mr. Lewis hadn't been home all night. That they had a fight last night and he walked out. And he sure looked like he hadn't been home all night this morning. He looked kind of weak and sleepy, you know.
Yes, sounds like he was ossified.
Petrified.
No, not that, but I do think he had been drinking.
No.
Yes, dear, and I hate to say it, but it sure looked like it to me.
Well, Jane, I think maybe you were right.
The thing that made me think of it most was that he was wearing his full dress suit.
A full dress suit?
Yes, in the morning, I mean, with a white tie and a high hat and a white... Yes, and he looked marvelous. He's very nice looking, a little older than Mrs. Lewis, I guess, but he looked handsome standing there in the theater.
Yes, with a gun in his hand.
Well, yes, that wasn't so good, but the rest of him, I mean, a high hat, a white scarf around his neck, a carnation in his overcoat. Oh, he was thick and fat.
I get it. Dressed to kill.
Yes, he looked positively... Oh, I just got that, dear. Dressed to kill. Oh, I just got it, too. Oh, dear, you're so repulsive.
Yes, aren't I?
The question now is, does Irene's husband permit the play to go on as per schedule? We'll learn about that the evening the play is put on, which will be when next we meet the Easy Aces.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to juvenile detail. A 13-year-old girl has disappeared from her home. There's reason to suspect foul play. Your job, investigate.
It was Saturday, April 17th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of juvenile detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Powers. My name's Friday. I was on my way back from the 4th floor, and it was 11:52 p.m. when I got down to the main floor. Squad room.
That's you, Joe?
Yeah.
How'd it go?
Oh, not too good.
Did he say anything?
No. He says we got him for the job, but it's going to end there. He's playing the big man now. Says he's not going to name that other kid.
Yeah. Let him sweat it out tonight. He'll feel different in the morning, maybe.
Oh, you're right. Anything come in?
As soon as I finish up this log, we can shove off if you want to.
All right.
You going right home? I say you're going right home.
Well, I thought maybe I'd go by the city hall. I'd like to see Danny Galindo for a minute.
What, are you going to eat then?
Yeah, I'll probably grab something. You want to go?
Might as well. Kind of hungry. I don't like to wake Faye up. She sleeps kind of light, you know. She always wakes up when I get to rattling around the kitchen.
Yeah.
Maybe stop and have a poached egg and some corned beef hash? How's that sound to you?
Like a poached egg and some corned beef hash.
Well, I'm not kidding. I'm hungry.
Are you about finished there?
Yeah.
I want to see Danny before he leaves.
What is it, something special?
No, I heard that he had a set of golf clubs for sale. I thought maybe I'd look at them.
Are you going to start playing golf?
No. I thought maybe I'd take a look at them. I got it. Juvenile Division, Friday. Yes, ma'am, that's right. What's that address? All right, no, we'll find it. We'll try not to worry. We'll be right there. Yes, ma'am. Bye. Well, that food of yours is going to have to wait.
What?
13-year-old kid's missing.
Probably at a neighbor's.
Her mother thinks she's been kidnapped. Frank and I left the office immediately, and we drove out to the address I'd been given on the phone. The caller had told me that her 13-year-old daughter was missing from the house. We parked our car a block from the place and walked the rest of the way in the event that the house might be watched. 12463 Courtney Terrace was a large house above Hollywood Boulevard. When we got there, all of the lights were on. Frank waited while I went up to the front door, and after a few minutes, he joined me. We were admitted to the house by a tall man in his early 40s who identified himself as the missing girl's father, Gilbert Moran. He asked us to come into the den of the house where he gave us the story.
My wife's with the doctor. She went all to pieces when it finally hit her.
Yes, sir. Now, have you checked with the girl's friends?
Yes, sir. Gladys called them all. None of them have seen her.
How about the neighbors?
Oh, we've talked to them, too. They just can't tell us anything. You've got to find her.
Yes, sir. We'll do our best, Miss Moran. Now, you want to start at the beginning and tell us what happened?
Yeah. Do you want a cigarette?
No, you go ahead. I have one here.
How about you?
Oh, I have one. Here's a match.
Thank you.
Joe?
Yeah, thank you. All right, sir. Do you want to tell us what happened?
Well, Gladys and I went to a show tonight down on the boulevard. We left Bunny here doing her homework.
Bunny, that's your daughter?
Yes, sir. Her name's really Lucille, but the kids at grammar school tagged her Bunny, and she's been called that ever since.
Uh-huh. What time did you get here?
It must have been about 11:40, somewhere near there.
Mm-hmm. Did you notice that your daughter was gone right away?
No, sir, not at first. I locked up, and then Gladys and I went upstairs. We checked Bunny's room, and she was gone.
I see.
Gladys started to think all kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to calm her down. We got Bunny's telephone book and started to call her friends. We know most of them. They hadn't seen her. Finally, I thought it'd be wrong to wait any longer, and we called you.
All right, sir. Now, do you want to give us a description of your girl?
Would you wait just a minute? I'd like to talk to the doctor and see if Gladys is all right.
Yes, sir. You go right ahead.
She was terribly upset.
Yes, sir. We understand.
What do you think?
I don't know. Big house, nice neighborhood. Looks like he's pretty well fixed, doesn't he?
Yeah. Nothing about a contact yet.
The girl's only been gone a couple hours.
The doctor's giving her a sedative. She's still pretty much upset.
Yes, sir. Now, I wonder if you give us that description.
Well, she's 13 and about right for her age.
Well, how do you mean, sir?
She's about 4'8", weighs around 80 pounds.
What color's her hair?
Dark blonde. She was always after her mother to let her use one of those rinses to make it lighter. Gladys said she should wait.
I see. How about her eyes?
Sort of brown, light. We used to tell her that she had honey-colored eyes, a sort of golden brown, real long eyelashes.
Now, can you remember what she was wearing?
Let me think. Well, as I remember, sir, she had on a pair of clam diggers, sir. Clam diggers, short slacks. Here about right here. Short.
I see, uh-huh. What color?
Denim, sort of light blue.
I see.
White blouse. Sort of like a man's shirt.
How about shoes?
Well, I think they were, Gosh, I'm sorry, sir. I just can't remember.
Now, is it possible she might have changed her clothes before she left?
She didn't leave, Sergeant. She was taken out of here. I'm sure it wasn't her idea.
All right, sir, we understand. Is there anything else about your daughter that would make it easier for us to identify her?
Well, I can't think of anything.
All right. Frank, what if you call us in, please?
Yeah. May I use your phone, Mr. Moran?
Certainly.
Where is it, please?
Right through that door, there's an alcove in the hall.
All right.
The light switch is on the right, just behind the door.
Thanks, sir.
Say, wait a minute.
Yes, sir?
I forgot about Skippy.
Who's that?
Skippy, the dog, Bunny's dog. He's gone, too.
Is that right?
He must be with Bunny. First time I thought of him. He's usually right with her all the time. I haven't seen him since we got home.
What kind of an animal is he?
Golden cocker, about 4 years old. Bunny got him for her 9th birthday.
I see. Better call on in, too, huh?
Yeah.
I wonder if I could see her room.
Oh, sure. It's upstairs.
This way?
Mm-hmm.
I hope you're not going to be angry, Mr. Moran.
What?
Has there been any trouble here in your home that might have affected the girl?
What do you mean?
Well, any arguments, disagreements, anything that might have upset her?
No.
No. Upstairs?
Yes.
How about boyfriends?
You mean, does Bunny have any?
That's right.
Oh, there are a couple of kids in her class she has over once in a while. She's not allowed any nighttime dates.
I see.
Once in a while on a weekend, we go to a show and take one of the kids with us.
Is there any one boy that she sees more than the others?
Oh, no. Gladys and I both think she's too young for that. It's down this way, Sergeant.
All right.
This is her room. When we left, she was sitting right there at the desk. You can see how there's paper scattered all over.
Yeah. Looks a little like there was a struggle, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. And she wouldn't do a thing like this if you just walked out.
No, sir. Where does this door lead over here?
Outside to a walk that runs around the house.
Locked. Was it this way when you came home?
Oh, yes, sir. I didn't touch a thing as soon as I realized she was gone.
The radio was still on, wasn't it?
I told you I didn't touch a thing.
I see.
She's been kidnapped, Sergeant. Somebody took her out of this house.
Wait a minute, Miss Moran.
Well, what is it? What you found?
There's something under the bed here, doesn't it?
It's her dog, Skippy.
Yeah. Looks like he's been beaten to death, doesn't it? Frank called the office and the description of the missing girl was broadcast. Captain Warren Stilson was contacted and he sent a crew of men out to the house to go over the room for physical evidence. The telephone company was contacted and arrangements were made for an extension phone to be placed in the same room as the existing instrument. In this manner, if the kidnapper should attempt to make contact with Moran, we could relay instructions to him easily. All of these preparations, however, were made with the thought that the house might be under surveillance by the person or persons who had taken the child. A team of men from Georgia Street Juvenile was sent out to the house and a 24-hour watch was set up. Frank and I began to talk to the neighbors and friends of the Morans. None of them could shed any light on the missing teenager. By 4 minutes to 6 on Sunday morning, there still had been no attempt at communication by the kidnappers. By this time, the girl's description had been given out to all officers in the city who might come in contact with her. Although when we talked with the neighbors, we'd asked them to keep the inquiries in strictest confidence, one of them had gotten in touch with a local newspaper. And before we had a chance to stop it, the news of Bunny Moran's disappearance was out. The other papers in the city picked up the news, and by noon on Sunday, special editions were on the streets. 1:40 p.m. Still no word from the girl's abductors. Her friends were re-questioned without results. All of the people who knew her or who had any dealings with her were interrogated. Still no leads. The examination by members of the crime lab turned up no usable evidence. They established that the dog had been killed with a metal bookend. The Federal Bureau of Investigation was contacted, and they assigned a team of agents to work with us. By 6:20 p.m., Mrs. Moran was in a state of complete collapse. The entire city and the state were looking for a 13-year-old daughter. A roundup of all known deviants was started. 10:38 p.m. Frank and I got back to the office.
I'll check the book.
All right. Is the skipper in?
No, I don't think so. Hargrove said he went over to City Hall meeting with Chief Brown and Lorman.
Mm-hmm. Anything in the book?
Let's see. Yeah, there's a couple of calls. Nothing that can't wait, though.
Well, you better call Faye, hadn't you, and tell her where you are?
Yeah, I guess.
I want to tag by Leighton Prince before we go out to the house.
Yeah. You check with the FBI?
Yeah, they got the description of all of the border points. None of the guards remember seeing the girl.
I figure she's still in the state then. Oh, hi, honey. That's me. Mm-hmm. I know. Well, I didn't get a chance. Well, I figured you'd read it. You don't know. Oh, okay, pretty beat. Yeah, Joe is too. No, nothing yet. What's that? Well, you know I can't talk about that, honey. Yeah. Yeah, well, don't worry. No, a little headache, yeah. I'll take some aspirin. Well, look, I'll call you first chance I get. Yeah. Okay, goodbye, then.
Worried, huh?
Yeah, she always is when I'm late. Let's go, huh?
Yeah, let's go. I get it. Juvenile Division, Friday. How long ago? Where? Right, we'll wait here. Yeah. No, I'll call. He's over with Chief Brown. Mm-hmm. We'll wait. Yeah, bye.
What do you got?
Kidnapper made contact.
A note?
He called and wanted to talk to Moran. Druggist heard him make the call and notified Hollywood Division.
Yeah.
He's in custody now. Frank and I waited until the suspect was brought into the office for questioning. He'd been apprehended in a drugstore while he was on the phone talking to Mr. Moran. A radio card picked him up and driven him over to Georgia Street Juvenile. We called Captain Powers at the City Hall, and he immediately came to the office. At 10:56 p.m., the suspect arrived. He was taken to the office of the night watch commander for questioning.
All right. What's your name?
You're the cop. You tell me.
Take everything out of your pockets.
What is this, a shakedown?
Don't you hear good?
All right. There's my wallet.
Any money in it?
Couple of bucks.
Take it out.
What are you doing, playing a lucky dollar
Keep
contest?
the money in your hand. Just put the wallet on the table.
Get the other pockets out.
Nothing in them.
Let us worry about that.
All right. Change. There's a comb. Handkerchief. Clean, too. Matches. Cigarettes. There's a pen and pencil set. Couple more pennies. That's it.
Want to check it, Joe?
Yeah. This your wallet?
It was in my pocket.
I asked you if it was yours.
Yeah.
Driver's license here. Is your true name?
Better read it so you can have it in the record.
Mark Lawrence Lansdale. That's your true name?
It's what it says.
You still live at the same address?
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you one question, Lansdale. I want the right answer.
What do I get if I come up with a winner?
Where's the Moran girl?
I don't know what you're talking about.
And you better find out. 13-year-old kid's missing. You called her parents and asked for $50,000 for a return. Now, where's the girl?
I thought you arrested guys for using the needle.
Answer the question, mister.
If I had it, you'd get it.
All right, mister. I'm going to ask you once more. Where's the girl?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You think you're pretty big, don't you?
I'll answer that one for you.
You do that, will you?
You say this girl's been kidnapped. All right?
This is your party.
You say you can prove that I made a call asking for $50,000. So far, I'm on the right track? All right. Then it figures that if you're so sure I got something to do with it, if I'm here, the girl's in trouble, don't it?
Go ahead.
If I don't turn up, something bad's likely to happen to her. True?
You're still on.
Well, if it's like I say that I don't know anything about it, then you're going to have to turn me loose anyway. I got nothing to worry about, Cop. You keep me here and your prize kid's liable to end up in a ditch. You let me go and Maybe you got a chance of getting her back. I'm going to spell it out for you, Lansville, and you listen good. There's nothing getting you out of here, nothing. I got 2 kids of my own, and I know how those parents feel. I'm on their side. If anything happens to that girl, you won't forget it for the rest of your life. And if I've got anything to say about it, that won't be very long. I'll pull every string I know to see that I get to take you to the joint and strap you in the chair myself. If you harm that kid in any way, you won't live long enough to regret it.
Big man with a badge. I get it. Juvenile Friday. He's right here. What? All right, I'll tell him. Go on. All right, bye. The Hollywood station, Skipper.
Yeah?
They found the girl. The call had come from the Hollywood police station telling us that the Moran girl had been found. We contacted Lieutenant Hartgrove and had Mark Lansdale held for further questioning. Frank, Captain Powers, and I left the office and drove to the Courtney Terrace address where the girl had been taken. When we got there was a uniformed officer standing by the front door. We went in and found Mr. and Mrs. Moran with their daughter Bunny waiting for us. The girl appeared to be all right. Her face was dirty and scratched. Her clothing was torn, but she appeared to be in good health.
Are you hungry, dear? Would you like a bowl of soup or something?
If it's not too much trouble.
Not at all, honey. I'll get it right away. Now, you stop when you get tired.
I will, Mother.
You want to go ahead, Bunny?
Yes. Where do you want me to begin?
What happened on Saturday night?
Daddy and Mother went to a show. I was upstairs doing my homework.
I see.
I guess I was up there a half an hour, maybe more. Seems like that long. Hard to tell when you're doing work, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, the first thing I knew, there was somebody at the front door. I heard the bell and went downstairs. There were 2 men there.
I see.
They asked if my mother and father were home. I told them no, that they'd gone out.
Mm-hmm.
And then they told me that they knew that all the time. Said there'd been some kind of an accident and that I should go with them right away. Said it was an emergency.
And you went with them, did you?
Yeah. I went upstairs to my room to get a coat. I wanted to make sure Skippy was all right.
Yeah.
One of them went with me. While I was getting my coat, I remembered that sometimes kidnappers tell people there's been an accident so they can take them away. You know how they do.
That was good thinking, Bunny.
Would you go ahead, please, miss?
I asked the man who followed me where Mom and Dad were, what hospital.
Mm-hmm.
He said they were in a hospital. They'd been taken to some kind of an emergency place.
He said that they were not in the hospital?
No, he said they'd been taken to some sort of emergency
I see.
place.
All right, go ahead, please.
Well, when I asked him for the name of the place, he wouldn't tell me. Just said I should hurry up, that my folks had been hurt pretty bad.
It's a dirty lie.
Anyway, I told him I wouldn't go, and he grabbed me. He said he was going to take me.
I'd like to get my hands on him. Was the other man downstairs all this time?
Well, I guess so. I didn't see him.
All right, go ahead, miss, please.
Here's your soup, honey. Now drink it while it's still hot.
What kind?
It's black bean, just like you like it. Go on now while it's hot. Well, there's some nice crackers there, too.
Thanks, Mother. That's good. I'm hungry.
Would you like to go ahead, miss, please?
Can't you let her eat? Poor child, after what she's been through.
There's another man out, Mrs. Moran. We've got to find him. He's right, Gladys.
Well, you go ahead and eat while you're talking.
Yes, Mother.
And not too fast.
All right.
Please go ahead, miss.
Well, when he grabbed me, Skippy, that's my dog, he got sore. Got real mad when he saw the man grab me, and he jumped at the man, tried to bite him.
I see.
The man hit Skippy, grabbed him and hit him a lot. I guess it killed him. I don't know.
What happened then?
Well, they took me out the car. It's parked outside in front of the house.
Did you get a good look at the car?
Mm-hmm.
You can give us a description of it then.
Yeah, I can tell you all about it.
All right, where'd the men take you?
Well, they drove for a long time. I think it's up in the hills someplace, up in Laurel Canyon.
Mm-hmm.
There's just kind of a house there, tar paper. Looks like the buildings they had when they were building the freeway. Tar paper shacks like the, they keep the blueprints in.
Mm-hmm.
One of those. Didn't even have a floor, just dirt. They put me in there and left me. I heard them lock the door when they went away.
I see.
I didn't know what to do. Sat there for a little while and tried to think what to do.
Did they have you tied in any way?
Yeah, they had ropes around my hands and around my feet.
Mm-hmm.
I fell asleep after a while. Cried for a while and then fell asleep.
Oh, my poor baby.
I guess it was morning when I woke up. I couldn't tell too good because there wasn't any window in the shack, just the walls and no floor.
Mm-hmm.
First, when I woke up, I didn't know where I was, and I remembered.
Did either of the men come back at all?
No, I sat there for a while, and then I tried to think of some way I could get away.
Yeah.
There was a whiskey bottle on the floor, and I kicked it until I broke it. Then I took one of the pieces and cut the ropes on my hands. I untied my feet and then just went around the shack kicking the walls until I found a place that wasn't strong. I found one and I crawled through.
Mm-hmm. What'd you do then?
I started to walk. It was pretty late by that time, and I started to walk down the road. I was looking for a house.
Mm-hmm.
I got to a street and walked along it for a while. There weren't many cars, but a truck came along, and the driver stopped and gave me a lift. Drove me to Laurel and Hollywood Boulevard and then let me out.
Yeah.
After that, I walked home.
You were real brave, honey.
I was pretty scared. There were a lot of times I didn't know what to do.
You just bet there were, baby, but you did good. You're safe now.
Can you describe the two men for us, do you think?
I guess so. One of them was dark, kind of short, looked like... Oh, what's his name? You see him on television all the time, real mean-looking. I'll think of his name. Looked exactly like him.
Mm-hmm. What about the other one?
He wasn't very big either, kind of brown hair, thin, had blue eyes, watery blue eyes.
Were those the only two men you saw?
Yeah, just the two.
Did they talk about anybody else being in on the kidnapping with them, do you remember?
Not that I could hear.
You're sure about that, are you?
Yes.
Sergeant, what's so important about that?
Well, sir, we've got a man in custody. The one who called you.
Yes?
Neither one of these descriptions match him. We continued to talk to the Moran girl. We got a complete description of both men involved and of the car they used. Local and APBs were gotten out on them. The fact that the descriptions varied and did not match the suspect we had in custody meant very little. A witness or a victim under stress might easily be mistaken. We talked with a family doctor, and he told us that after a good night's sleep, the girl would be able to cooperate with us completely. The following morning, Monday, April 19th, a special show-up was arranged at the main jail. Our suspect was placed in a line with other men in custody. Bunny Moran failed to identify him. Frank and I took her over to the city hall and had her look through mug shots that had been pulled from packages as a result of the run by the stats office. She was unable to point out a suspect. 1:40 p.m. We asked her if she could show us the shack where she'd been held captive. She said she could. We called her parents and told them where we were going, and then we left the office. We picked up a policewoman and drove out the freeway to Sunset Boulevard and turned off. When we got to Laurel Canyon Boulevard, we drove past Lookout Mountain Avenue, and then we turned left onto a dirt road. We drove for about a mile and a half. There was no sign of any type of building.
It's right up ahead around the next corner.
You sure you're on the right road?
Yeah, I remember walking down this one. That's right.
Hey, that's as far as we can go. Dead end.
Maybe I did make a mistake. Maybe I did. I was sure it was along here, but maybe I was wrong. It might have been the next road up. You know, the one past where we turned off?
Uh-huh. You want to turn around, Frank?
Yeah.
Oh, sure, I'm sorry about it.
That's all right, miss.
Guess it seems like a wild goose chase, huh?
No.
Sure hope not. I know where it is. I just got mixed up.
All right.
We'll find it. I'm sure we will.
Mm-hmm.
Can't just disappear, can it?
No, not likely.
It's here someplace. You'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We went back to Laurel Canyon Boulevard and drove up all of the dirt roads in the vicinity. We didn't find the shack. Each time, Bunny Moran would offer some excuse. Finally, we asked her to describe the truck that had picked her up. She gave us a description that would fit 200 or 300 vehicles in the city. She was unable to tell us the name of the driver who'd stopped. We took her back to the office and asked her to go over the story again. When she finished, Frank left to get Captain Powers. All right, you want to tell us now?
What do you mean?
The real story, the way it really happened. Might be easier if you told us first, don't you think?
I told you there isn't any more to tell. I told you all how it happened.
Why are you lying?
I'm not lying. That's the way it happened.
Now, look, there are half a dozen places where the story you just told us doesn't fit with what you said last night.
I was tired last night. Maybe I didn't remember.
That's kind of hard to buy. Too many things that don't check out, miss. The story about your dog, the fact that you can't find the shack. You don't know who the driver of the truck was. There are a lot of things.
I forgot, that's all. I made a mistake. Didn't you ever make a mistake?
A lot of them. But last night you said that only one of the men went upstairs with you. Now, isn't that right?
I don't remember.
You seemed pretty sure about it then.
And I guess that's what I said.
Only one of the men went with you, huh?
That's what I said, yes.
Well, then why, when you told the story just now, did you say that both of them went with you?
I don't know. You're getting me all mixed up.
Did you kill your dog? Did you?
Yes.
Why?
I had to. To make the story sound real. I didn't want to, but I had to.
Well, why'd you do it at all, miss?
So they wouldn't mind, that's the reason.
Well, what do you mean, so who wouldn't mind?
You'll think it's silly. You won't think it's a good reason.
Why'd you tell me anyway, huh?
Because I was failing.
What?
I flunked at school. I flunked and I didn't want my folks to know. They'd be real mad. Real mad.
So you figured this kidnap thing out, huh? Played it that way.
Yes. I thought that if something bad happened to me, they'd be so glad to have me back it wouldn't matter about my flunking.
The whole thing was a lie from the beginning to end, huh?
Yes. All of it.
All right, youngster, we better get going.
Where?
We'll take you home.
You gonna tell my folks about it?
We haven't got much choice, have we?
They'll be mad. Madder than they've ever been.
Well, I guess they will.
What'll I tell them? What'll I say?
Well, I'll tell you, why don't you try something different?
Huh?
Tell them the truth.
Present at the meeting were Mr. and Mrs. Gilbert Moran and their daughter Lucille. It was decided that no criminal complaint be issued, and the girl was released to the custody of her parents with the understanding that she be given psychiatric help. Further investigation showed Mark Hartwell Lansdale was wanted by authorities in Sacramento to answer a burglary charge. He was released to them.
Dragnet, the story of your police force in action, is a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
This one's about Pete Kelly. The big music, and the big trouble, and the big 20s. So when they ask you, tell them this one's about the blues. Pete Kelly's blues. Pete Kelly's Blues, starring Jack Webb. With story by Joe Eisinger and music by Dick Kepner.
.417 Cherry Street, Kansas City. It's a standard speakeasy. The ceiling is low, the prices are high, and the whiskey is cut more times than a chin at a barber college. The entrance is just wide enough to handle one at a time, vertical or horizontal. My name's Pete Kelly. I play cornet. We start every night about 10, and we play till the last buck is home safe in Lupo's cash register. George Lupo owns the lease. He's a fat, friendly little guy you can always count on for a 20 in exchange for 2 10s. But that's all right. He lets us play the kind of music we like, and every once in a while he'll let us duck out to make a couple of phonograph records. All he asks is that we're back in an hour and 15% of the take. Well, last night, Matty Wynn had been after us for 2 weeks to make another record for him, to fill out one side. Matty ran a 2-turntable recording joint in a loft over on Baltimore. During the day, he'd keep busy making $2 personal records for the folks to send back home to the farm. At night, he'd rope a combo like ours to put out with some Dixie for the local market. We'd already pressed a few for his label under different names. The Spickardsville Sparks, the Grundy Growlers, the KC Cats. Maybe you got one or two in your collection. Hold on to them. They're pure. Well, it was getting on to 11 when I pushed the tempo on the last number in the second set. Lupo glared at us as we hustled out. Packed up our instruments, we piled into a taxi in Red's Erskine coupe and slammed out for Baltimore Street and Matty's loft.
Come on, I'll help you with the take.
All right. Let's keep it light, huh? This is a residential district now. Hold it down, boys, huh? Hold it down.
Hey, fellas, quiet down now. Quiet.
Pete?
Who's that, Red?
Looks like Zelda.
Oh, Pete, I'm so glad I didn't miss you.
Yeah, Zelda.
I have to... Could I talk to you for a minute, Pete?
All right, what's on your mind?
Alone?
I got a recording date, Zelda.
I know, Pete. That's why I came here.
We have to get back to 417.
A minute, Pete? A half a minute.
All right.
Okay, Petey, we'll wait upstairs. All right, you guys, let's move. And Pete.
Yeah, Red.
We don't sound like much out of calling there. Make it snappy, huh?
All right.
All right, inside, Mo. Okay.
Thank you, Pete.
All right, come on, Zelda.
Don't be mean, Pete. I've had my share of meanness. The way the newspapers...
What did you expect? Rave notices for the way you divorced Matty to marry a hood like Johnny April?
I have a right to live my own life.
Sure, no matter whose life you kick to shreds doing it.
I love Johnny, and he loves me. Oh, Pete, of all people, I thought you would understand, that you would...
Now, look, Zelda. I like a guy named Matty Wynn. In my book, he didn't rate the kind of treatment you dealt him.
You like a guy named Matty Wynn. How much do you really know?
All right, Zelda, just funnel this down. Now, what do you want?
Matty refuses to see me, Pete.
That figures.
I want you to talk to him for me.
Saying what?
You and Matty, you always got on well together. He may listen to you.
Now, look, Zelda, I got a job to do. Get to it.
Matty's got a record that belongs to me. I want it.
What kind of a record?
It's a record you and the boys made once, June 9th.
Well, you're beginning to make a lot of sense, Zelda.
He'll understand, Pete. Just tell him I'll give him anything he wants for the record. You just tell him that, Pete. If you talk to him, maybe he'll...
Now, look, Zelda, just for the book here. I never liked you much.
I know. Pete,
I think you were grief for Matty from the first day he met you until the day you dealt him the final foul. All right, now, why don't you just leave him alone?
For Matty's sake, believe me, Pete. For his sake, I must have that record, and if you're a friend of his, Pete, you'll advise him to give it to me.
All right. I don't know what you want with an old disc of mine, but if it's something you need, it's something Matty's better off without. Matty?
Well, Pete, I've begun to think you deserted us for the Mound City Blue Blowers.
I just left Zelda.
Of course, the wisest thing any man could do.
She was waiting for me downstairs.
Why is it, Pete, that we always assume the vulture to be male?
She seemed more like a frightened rabbit.
Zelda, rabbit? Mink, yes, but never rabbit.
All right, Matty, I'll tell you about it after the session, huh? All right, let's get it on the road, huh? Matty, what do you want us to do?
Well, you've just got one side to fill. Last time you did me singing the blues, we never did get a good take on Dixieland One Step.
Okay, all right. Come on, guys. Let's like each other, huh?
Quiet down. Now, quiet down.
All right, let's do Dixieland One Step.
How you want a routine, Pete?
Well, let's see. Like this. Everybody going in. Nick, slug those brakes solid. Matlock, you take the first little break on clarinet.
Yeah.
Now, Mo, you take the second and really blow it out, huh? Give me a...
And everybody in on the first chorus, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Now, I'll take it for 16. Matlock, you take 16, everybody out. Good and bright, huh?
Yeah, okay.
All right. Ready, Matty?
Just a second. Okay, take it on the count, huh?
All right, now, here we go.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, felt good, huh?
Yeah, it was good for me.
Fine, Matlock.
Matty?
That does it, Pete.
All right, you can pack up. I'll see you back at 417, huh?
Come on, boys. You stand behind, Pete?
Yeah, 10 minutes. Leave the Erskine for me, will you, Red?
Sure. Look, Pete, you come here to take care of your business. Leave it that way, huh?
Don't worry, Red. I aim to. Will you take my horn?
Yeah.
I'll see you later.
All right. Nice, Pete. One solo seemed a little long for time, but I think we can get it all on.
Look, Matty, I know this is probably none of my business.
The papers and her marriage to Johnny April has made Zelda everybody's business.
Well, she asked me to talk to you about a record.
Indeed.
An old one of ours, June night?
Yeah, June night. I remember it well, Pete. I always considered it a splendid achievement in jazz that should one day become a collector's item.
Zelda doesn't know jazz from German measles and cares less, but she said she'd give you anything you want for that record.
You can tell Zelda that she can purchase a copy of June night at Lambert's for 35 cents.
Yeah, that's why I don't get it.
And if you're fortunate, Pete, you never will. Forgive me, Pete. I don't mean to be sharp with you, but you're young and carefree. Stay that way. And if Zelda should again approach you, take a trip around the world or someplace else, but go.
All right, Matty. She asked me to ask you, and I asked. Good night.
Good night, Pete. Hey. You Pete Kelly?
Who wants to know?
Hear that, Perry? He wants to know who wants to know. All right, I'll tell you. I want to know. Feel better?
Sure, I'm Pete Kelly, but I got a right...
And I got a left. Let's ride.
Thanks, but I got my own car here.
Right now, ours is safer for you. It's bulletproof.
Well, I was going to tell him I didn't need a bulletproof car. He showed me the gun. It was a .45. I know how to admit it when I'm wrong. So we got into the bulletproof car. During the ride, I cased the two artillerymen. Except for their faces, I'd seen them a couple of times before. At 417, over at Sour Sammy's, at Fat Annie's. The same tightly tailored blue suits, the same long, itchy fingers, and the same razor-edged lips and eyes. Oh, there's hundreds of them around. But they're pretty right guys. You gotta know how to handle them. Just do as they tell you, and the chances are you won't lose more than one eye. Well, the car glided to a smooth stop in front of the Roxbury Apartments. The private elevator shot us up to the penthouse. My stomach caught up with me as the Gunsels pushed me into a living room that was slightly smaller than Swope Park, but less crowded. One man, all shoulders, no hips, and rich black hair, a face that'd make Wally Reed cut his throat. He was sitting at a table with earphones on. He was tuning a radio. He glanced once over his shoulder at me. I didn't jump more than 20 yards. It was Johnny April.
Just a minute. I've been listening to something good on the earphones. Here, I'll plug in the speaker for you. You hear that music?
Yeah.
Nice reception, huh?
Yeah.
Just got it. 12-tube super heterodyne, Magnavox horn. Pulls in Frisco without static. The best. Drink?
No, thanks.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Canadian import, the best. Sure you want number one?
Yeah, sure.
Well, luck?
Luck?
Yeah, it's good stuff. Got a jolt, the best. You know who I am?
Yeah.
You sure?
Sure.
What's my name?
April. Johnny April.
That's right. You know my wife?
Your wife?
My wife.
Yeah?
You sure?
Yeah, Mrs. April.
Don't you know her better than that?
Than what?
Than Mrs. April?
Well?
Huh?
Well, sure. I know her. I knew her when she... Well, before she...
When she was married to Matty Wynn?
Yeah.
But you didn't call her Mrs. Wynn, did you?
Well, no.
What did you call her?
By her name?
Which is?
Zelda.
Zelda, that's right. That's all I wanted to fix. Now we both know what we're talking about, Zelda. You understand now?
Yeah.
That's why I invited you here, to talk about Zelda. And why you're bothering her.
Oh, well, you lost me, Mr. April.
Not a bad suggestion, but first I want you to tell me what you and Wynn are clubbing Zelda with.
You're asking me to play without a cue sheet, Mr. April. I don't even know the tune.
Tonight you stopped Zelda on Baltimore Street. You talked to her on a corner. You were seen. She was pleading with you.
Now, look, Mr. April, you're spinning it backwards. She stopped me, asked me to speak to Wynn.
About what?
Well, about a record she said belongs to her.
What record?
Well, it's a record. One that I made for Wynn. It's called... The title... Yeah, I know. This sounds silly, but it's true.
Half right, Kelly. Sounds silly because it isn't true. What do you want with Zelda?
All right, April. You take it any way you like. All I want from Zelda is distance between us. Now, I got a date to play.
Jake, teach him. What are you and Wynn cooking?
Nothing.
What do you want from Zelda?
Nothing, I tell you.
Johnny, what are you doing?
This the crumb who stopped you tonight?
Yeah, he's the one.
How much did Wynn pay April to take Angel off his hands?
What did he want?
Money. Yeah, he said he and Wynn would make trouble for me. For you.
What kind of trouble?
My divorce. About my divorce. Open it up again unless I paid them.
All right. Now listen to me, Tin Horn. You got luck. You got lots of luck. You should light a candle to your luck. Next time you fill a ditch. This time I only warn you. And these are the warnings on the way. Tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, you go to Union Station. You buy a ticket, east, west, north, or south. You go. You go till the train runs out of the rails. No more room for you in Kansas City. Only in that ditch. You hear me?
I hear you. Well, Jake and Perry drove me back to the Erskine. They dropped me on Baltimore. I sat on the curb, my head between my knees. After a while, I felt a little better. I could breathe again. The lights were still on up in Matty's loft. He was probably working on the master. While I navigated the long flight of stairs, trying hard to hold back the sudden anger kicking up in me. It wasn't Matty's fault. He'd warned me about Zelda. No use to take it out on him. Well, I went into the loft and made an effort to hold it down. But it was a wasted effort. Matty wouldn't have minded anything I said or did. Matty wasn't even there. Only his body, half covered with the burlap used on the walls to soundproof the joint. He'd been shot once through the head, clawed down enough burlap over himself to make a shroud. I picked up the phone in the office, gave Central the number of Sour Sammy's joint, and waited for Sammy to see if Barney Ricketts was under his favorite table. Barney Ricketts is the only ex-bootlegger I know who went broke in 1922. He set out to prove that a man could drink his gin without ill effects. But he never set a time limit on the experiment. No, Barney hadn't come in yet to Sour Sammy's. Well, I left word for him, meet me at Fat Annie's place. I started to leave. I hesitated and went back to Matty Wynn, spread a clean handkerchief over his face. I made the street 3 stairs at a time. I crossed the river, jolted the Erskine down Boulder Road to Fat Annie's place. Seemed like a waste of good singing, but Maggie Jackson was getting ready to do her number. I eased a lone drunk out of a booth, draped him on the edge of the bar, and sat and listened to Maggie.
Across the river on the Kansas side, that's where Fat Annie and the blues abide. To get your music and your chicken fried, come to Fat Annie. Just pour a pocketful of rock and ride across the river to the Kansas side. And when you get across that great divide, come to Fat Annie.
I'm just beat, Pete, right down to my shoes.
Yeah, it's a noisy crowd, Maggie.
Out-of-town wine buyers with gin chasers. Murder.
Yeah, do you want a beer?
Thanks, Pete. I could use it.
All right.
Hey, draw 2, will you?
Barney ain't been in yet, has he?
No. You got trouble again, Pete?
Where can I buy a new birthday? The stars are ganging up on me.
Ain't nothing in that astrology, Pete.
Well, there must be some explanation. Yes or no, hot or cold, I catch it.
What's the misery this time, Pete?
Only that Matty Wynn caught a bullet in the head.
No.
And if I'm not out of KC by morning, he's going to have company. Look, Maggie, do you remember a disc I cut for Matty? June night?
Sure do. Good session.
You got a copy of that one?
Right on top of the pile.
Where?
In my room, just down the street a piece.
Well, I'd go with you, Maggie, but I don't want to miss Barney.
I'll get it for you, Petey.
Thanks a lot.
Ah, Peach Kelly, noted troubadour, bar of the barrel houses.
Hi, Barney.
And Maggie Jackson, Canary of the Cribs.
I'll be right back, Pete.
Thanks a lot.
Petey, I've just suffered a great hurt. No sooner did I set foot in Sour Sammy's joint than Sour Sammy himself came a-grinning and a-smirking to tell me with undisguised glee that you were waiting for me here. He was openly delighted to see me go.
Yeah, look, Barney.
I was sorely tempted to ignore the message, merely to aggravate Sour Sammy, you understand. But since it was you, Petey, and in distress, I'll warrant, I came on the wings of Mercury.
Thanks, Barney.
Mercury, that's a thought, Petey. We've tried ether in our beer, chloroform, and even a tincture of laudanum. Now, what would a soup spoon of mercury do? No, too risky, unless, of course, one...
Barney, listen to me, will you? I'm breathing against the clock.
Never will I forget Sour Sammy's attitude, and after all the credit he's given me, too. No, Petey, it proves only one thing. Man is essentially an asocial animal. We band together only because we find it impossible to survive alone.
Yeah, I know.
But there is no true affection anywhere. Like the wolf, yes, take the wolf, Petey. He too herds, but only in times of want and stress.
Yeah.
And as soon as he doesn't have to rely upon his fellow wolf for survival, off he goes to prey upon his own. Yes, Petey, like the wolf, man is a lone hunter, hating the herd because he is forced to depend upon it for survival.
You all through?
Very well, fellow wolf.
Johnny April, Barney, do you know him?
Oh, yes. A fine gentleman, Johnny April. Never kills on the Sabbath.
Well, I can't wait that long. He gives me till morning to get out of town.
Foolish man. Right now, you should be navel-deep in timetable.
Look, I got sucked into this by his wife, Zelda. She asked me to get a record from Mattie Wynn that belongs to her. She told April that I'm trying to shake her down. I got worked over, and Wynn got a bullet.
What's on this record?
I don't know. It's just a disc I once made for Mattie. It's called June Night.
Why does Zelda want it?
I don't know.
Why did Zelda lie to April?
I don't know.
Here's the record, Pete.
Thanks, Maggie.
And who shot Mattie?
I don't know.
Let's save time, Petey. Just tell me what you do know.
Well, all I know is that Zelda's after this record, and she doesn't want April to know it.
And that's the copy there?
Yeah, June Night. I thought maybe we could spin it once, and maybe it'll give us some kind of a message.
I'll put it on the phonograph, Pete.
Thanks, Maggie. I'll wind it up for you here. All right, listen to it, huh?
Good quality. Mean anything?
Nothing.
No hidden meanings or codes or ciphers?
Nothing there but the music.
Tell me, Petey, how are these things made?
What?
A recording.
Well, you record directly onto a round table of soapy wax, and then they dust this wax with graphite, and they dip it in a copper plating tank. From this, they make what they call the mother, or the stamper. And that's what turns out the records that you buy in the store.
I see. And the wax master, that's always kept in the recording studio?
Yeah.
When you've finished a job, Pete, can anything else be recorded on the master?
Well, I suppose you could dub from one master to another, yeah.
Petey, when I was a mere lad, my old father told me, when you seek an answer, child, always go to the master.
Well, I pointed Barney for the door. We got into the Erskine and jolted back over Boulder Road and across the river. Barney insisted on expanding his wolf-man-herd theory all the way back to Baltimore Street. By the time we reached Matty Wynn's loft, my fangs were on edge. Barney looked away from Wynn's body as we headed for the file room. I yanked open a metal container. It was empty. The master of June night was gone. Yeah, your old father was right, Barney.
He also told me the master will always be there for you. Notice the disarranged state of the files here, all the compartments.
Yeah.
Whoever came for the master of June night went directly to the right file as you did. Didn't find it there and ransacked the rest of the place.
Well, then Matty hid it figuring something like this, but where?
Let's look around the control room, Petey.
Oh, there's no place there to hide a flea.
Did you ever read a story called The Purloined Letter by Edgar Allan Poe?
Not now, Barney.
A wonderful little tale.
Now, look, Barney,
In this particular story, Petey, a number of detectives were taking a room apart by the seams, searching for a letter. They couldn't find it, and why? Because man is blind, Petey. He never recognizes the truth when his eyes fall on it, just as our eyes now fall on this peculiar-looking record on the turntable.
Yeah. Barney, you wouldn't leave it out just like this.
Prove me wrong. Play it.
All right. Let's listen to it and see.
You understand what you're to say, Zelda?
You worked the script for me.
Not that I don't trust you, of course.
Let's get on with it, Matty.
A little closer to the microphone, Zelda.
This close enough, Matty?
This close enough, Pete?
Don't be foolish, Zelda. Put that gun away.
Give me the record, Pete.
Sure, in exchange for that gun.
You'll get what's in the gun.
Like you dealt it to Matty? The record here on the turntable all the time, and you broke 3 nails ripping those files apart?
Face the wall. Keep your hands up. Lean against it, both of you.
Excuse me, madam, but I just dropped in to make a record for the folks
Shut
back
up.
home. Surely.
One move, and I'll give it to you in the back.
That's my department, Zelda.
Johnny!
Give me the gun. All right, Zelda. I tailed you here. I only bought a small piece of your yarn. Now I want the rest of it.
I didn't want to involve you, Johnny. I came to pay them off. They killed Matty. See? See there? And I got the gun away from...
No good, Zelda. Can't you see his face? He's just run out of mileage and ideas. Listen to this, April.
No, darling. It's a frame. This...
Shut up. All right, Kelly, I'm listening, and it better be good.
All right. Here it is. It's all on the record.
Just close enough, Matty?
Perfect. Now, just in case anything goes wrong, this recording will be our protection from each other. To whom it may concern, my wife, Zelda, and I have entered into this agreement of our own free will.
All right, just get to it, Matty.
Go ahead.
I have told Johnny April that I want to divorce my husband and marry him. When this is accomplished, it is our intention that I be made a widow as soon as possible and then remarry Matty Wynn.
Just for the record, you agree to decoy said Mr. April to a predetermined spot where you'll be unarmed and without bodyguard. I agree to shoot Mr. April. The police will not question your story that he was ambushed by a rival mobster, identity unknown to you. You will then inherit the April money and return to me. You agree?
I agree. Crazy enough to do anything for you, even when you tell your own wife.
All right.
That's enough.
This will be legal.
Johnny.
April, don't shoot her.
Johnny, don't. Please, don't.
Get over it, Zelda.
No.
Back off so I won't miss you. Zelda!
Johnny! Johnny!
He can't hear you.
I should have let him kill me.
You fell in love with him, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Only one thing I didn't count on.
Yeah. You can't dance at 2 weddings with one heart.
Pete Kelly's Blues.
starring Jack Webb, with story by Joe Eisinger and music by Dick Tapgart. Scoring by Matty Matlock. The music of Pete Kelly's Big Seven and Maggie Jackson is now available on phonograph records. Ladies and gentlemen, the Red Cross already has allocated more than $1 million for emergency relief work in the flood-stricken areas of Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, and Oklahoma. The biggest Red Cross job, however, will be rebuilding and refurnishing homes in the flooded areas. Cost of this job will run into the millions, more than present Red Cross resources can provide. That is why President Truman has issued a special appeal to all Americans to contribute generously to a special Red Cross flood fund of at least $5 million. Send all contributions to your local Red Cross chapter.
The proceeding was transcribed. It's the Silver Jubilee on NBC. Tonight, one of your old friends is returning to NBC. Yes, there's fun for everyone tonight with Uncle Gildy, that happy, bungling hero of the airwaves, the great Gildersleeve. And later tonight, there's the best in recorded music on Meredith Wilson's Music Room. Meredith's special guest this evening is Frank Lesser, the composer of Broadway's musical Guys and Dolls. And make a note to hear Dragnet tomorrow with another authentic story from the files of the Los Angeles Police Department. The great Gildersleeve tonight on NBC.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned a robbery detail. 2 men are terrorizing your city. They're both armed and considered dangerous. Your job, get them.
It was Thursday, September 9th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. My name's Friday. I was on my way back from the street, and it was 11:42 p.m. when I got to the 814 Club, the back room.
I hate to think what's going to happen when Mr. Negri hears about it. It's going to be pretty bad.
Yes, sir. How about it, Joe?
You catch the fellows yet?
No, sir. Description's out. Guys from the F cars are checking the neighborhood.
Haven't got nothing yet, though, huh?
No, sir, not yet.
Wish I was home.
Sir?
If I was home, I could turn off the phone. I got one of those attachments in the extension in the bedroom that turns it off. Wish I was there now. Mr. Negri's really going to be sore.
Mm-hmm. Was there anything at all about the 2 men that would stand out and make it a little easier for us to identify them?
Tell you the truth, Sergeant, if there was, I didn't see it.
All right.
I was scared. Darn scared. I'm not afraid to say so.
Yes, sir.
I can tell you again if you want me to about the robbery.
All right, if you would. Might be something you didn't remember the first time.
Okay. Guess it was about 11:15 when it came in. Just a guess, but I think it was about then. A dark one. He had the machine gun. He kind of moved over so he had a good look at the people sitting at the bar.
What kind of a gun was it?
Machine gun.
I see. Go ahead.
Guess he could have hit him off from where he was. Held the gun kind of low, you know, like at his hip here.
Mm-hmm. What about the other one?
Oh, he waited with his friend, and he walked up to the bar and stood right in the middle of the floor.
He had the automatic, huh?
Yeah. It looked like a .45. He stood right in the middle of the place, just looking there, watching me.
What happened then?
Well, the fellow out in front reached over and pulled the plug in the jukebox, turned it off right in the middle of the record, pulled the plug. And that's what made the other people turn around. Turned right around and looked at the guns. That's when the light fellow, the one with the .45, he said, "Sit where you are. This is a stick-up."
Are those his exact words?
Well, near as I can remember, yeah. He kind of had a squeaky little voice, like it was still changing, you know?
Yes, sir.
But those were the words. Sit right where you are. This is a stick-up.
All right, Mr. Gilmore, you want to go ahead?
Well, the one with the funny voice told everybody to get up and turn around so they was facing the bar, you know, with their back to the hold-up man. Made them all turn around.
Mm-hmm.
Then he told them to start in the back of the place and walk over to one of the tables and dump all their money out. Said not to forget anything. Put it all there.
Did they take anything besides money?
Not that I saw. Well, there were a couple of people who had pretty good-looking watches on, but the only thing the bandits seemed to want was cash.
I see. Then they left after they got the money, is that right?
Yeah. Walked to the door and said for us not to try to call anybody for 5 minutes. After that, they walked out.
Did you see if they had a car?
No, sir. Didn't even go near the door. We did like they said, 5 minutes, and after that, I called you.
Mm-hmm. You'd know them again if you saw them, would you?
You bet I would. You put me in a crowd with them, and I'll tell you. No trouble there. I'd know them. Oh, excuse me.
Go right ahead.
814 Club. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Mr. Negri. Uh-huh. That's right. Well, who called you? Yeah. Well, there wasn't anything I could do about Mr. Negri. Well, no, sir. Both of them had guns. Yeah. All right, sir. If that's the way you feel about it. All right, sir. Fine. I'll be in the morning. Right. Night. Fired me.
Well, that's too bad. I thought I heard you say you'd be in the morning now.
Yeah. Well, I come in to pick up my money, you know.
I see.
Yeah. Time I get here tomorrow, I'll have another change of heart, so hire me back. I've been fired 12 times already. 12. He always hires me back. Isn't anybody else who worked for him?
Is that right?
We had a lot of trouble keeping help. He thinks I should have stopped the hold-up men myself. Just walked in with my bare hands and stopped them. Pretty silly when you think of it.
Uh-huh.
He says they're only kidding with the guns, that they wouldn't have really shot me. Pretty silly. Says he'd have bet on it.
Is that right?
Doesn't take too much to figure that out.
Yeah.
Either way, I'd have lost, wouldn't I?
The description of the suspects, the method of operation they'd used, everything about the robbery sounded just as if it had been read from our M.O. bulletins. For the past 3 weeks, Frank and I had been after the two gunmen. All sources of information had been tapped. Victims and witnesses had been questioned and re-questioned. People in the immediate vicinity had been talked to. Mug shots had been pulled and worn out by handling. To date, in concrete information, we had exactly what we'd started with. Two gunmen who were moving around at will and robbing citizens where and when they chose. The victims of the latest robbery were shown the mug books, but they were unable to make an identification. The canvass of the area turned up no usable information. Frank and I worked until 3:45 a.m., and then we filled out the log and left the office. The next morning, we checked with Captain Donahoe and Chief Brown. As a result of the meeting, we arrived at the only possible solution to apprehending the suspect. Legwork and a lot of it. We spent the rest of the afternoon rechecking informants. At 9:30 p.m., we stopped for dinner, and then we went back to the office.
You got the address Sam gave you?
Yeah, it's here somewhere. Yeah, here it is.
Yeah. You think it's worth checking out?
Well, we got nothing else to do. We might as well. As soon as I get these straightened up, we can take a ride out there and see him.
Yeah.
Robert, Murphy. Yeah, he's here. Just a minute. Friday?
Yeah, Murph.
Take 3, will you, Joe?
Thanks. 3?
Yeah.
This Friday. Yeah, boy. When was that? Well, it's possible. Do you see anybody else? All right, we'll come right over. Bye. It's Highland Park. They just picked up a guy for 459.
Yeah.
Matches the description of our blonde hold-up man.
You think it'll check out?
I don't know. They shook him down when he was picked up. They found a 45 with a full clip.
It's pretty heavy for a burglar.
Yeah, let's go over and talk to him.
Sure be a break. We've been chasing luck long enough.
Well, maybe we caught up. Frank and I signed out of the office immediately, and we started over to Highland Park. It wasn't the first time we'd gone out on a similar call. During the time we'd been after the hold-up men, there'd been several others. All of them had to be checked out. We never knew when an odd piece of information might turn the lead that we'd been looking for. Just before we turned off onto Avenue 64, a call came in over the radio.
All units on frequency 1, stand by.
You want to turn it up?
All
Yeah,
units
I got it.
on frequency 1, stand by. Stand by, 11J4. All units on frequency 1. Please stand by.
Sounds like a good one. Yeah,
All
wait a minute.
units in the vicinity of Highland Park area. All units in the vicinity of 6045 York Boulevard, Highland Park Division. Units 11F2, 11F3, 11F5, and 11F7. And all traffic units, attention.
It's a big one.
At 10:47 p.m. this date, an armed man entered the Highland Park Police Station and forced an officer to release 2 prisoners. The man was armed with a submachine gun believed to be a .45 caliber. Suspect is described
Sounds like our boy.
as WMA.
The Highland Park Police Division is a large brick building located on York Boulevard. On the ground floor is a booking desk and a couple of administration offices. Directly behind the booking counter, across the hall, is a cell block. Prisoners are held there pending further investigation or transfer to the main jail. When Frank and I arrived, there were a dozen police cars around the building. Other units were searching the area for the escaped suspects. The call had gone out to the entire state, and members of the Highway Patrol and the Sheriff's Department and all other departments were joining in the manhunt. Frank and I talked to Officer Boyd Hutchins, the policeman who'd been on duty when the escape took place.
Well, he came in the side door, and first I thought he just wanted some information.
Uh-huh.
When I walked over to take care of him, I couldn't see the gun. He was carrying it low, kind of hidden by the counter.
You didn't see him come into the building then, huh?
No, I was on the phone. First I knew was when he asked me if he could see Burton.
Uh-huh.
I told him we couldn't swing it right then. Said he'd have to come back. And that's when he asked me if there was anybody around who could okay a visit.
Well?
I told him there was and said for him to come back in the morning.
That's when he showed you the gun, huh?
Yeah, he brought it right up over the counter. Said for me not to cause any trouble and I wouldn't get hurt. He didn't have to tell me.
Yeah.
If there'd been a chance for me to take him, I might have tried, but I didn't see how it'd prove anything for me to bleed all over him.
Yeah.
They made me take him back to the cell block. I unlocked the door and he told Burton to come out.
What about the other guy?
Oh, his name is Kenneth Lechner. He was in the same cell with Burton. The guy with the machine gun asked if he wanted to go for the ride, and Lechner said yes, and then the three of them walked out of the building.
Did they make any attempt to tie you up, anything like that?
No, he just said sit tight. I wasn't about to argue.
What do you know about this Lechner?
Oh, he was picked up on a warrant from Oklahoma.
What charge?
Murder.
We went to the city hall and we checked the name Gail Burton through R&I. There was no record on him in Los Angeles. We forwarded the information on him to George Breton up at CII in Sacramento. The rest of the night was spent in checking out the possible places the suspects might have been hiding. In a city of over 2 million people, there are a lot of places. While we were combing the city, men from the Sheriff's Department were going over the county territory. We had a vague description of the car that was used, but it might match any one of several hundred being driven on the streets of Los Angeles. Roadblocks were set up on principal routes leaving the city. Special details were standing by at all train and bus depots, and the airports were covered. Leaves and days off for all personnel were canceled, and by the time the search got out of low gear, over 3,000 policemen were looking for the three men. Field stations were set up in the less populated areas, and coffee and hot soup were served to the men participating in the search. The night dragged on without result. Saturday, September 11th, we received a report that 2 men answering the descriptions of Burton and the man who'd aided in his escape had tried to rent a boat down in San Diego. However, when this was checked out, it proved to be false. Saturday afternoon, we received information from George Breton that Burton had an arrest record in Sacramento and that mug shots and all information were being forwarded. We got in touch with the authorities in the northern city and asked them to check further on the friends and relatives of Burton. When the mug shots arrived, they were shown to the holdup victims.
Mr. Gilmore, I'd like to have you take a look at these pictures, see if you recognize any of them.
Mm-hmm. You think there might be one here of the fellow who held us up?
Well, we want you to tell us if you can.
Uh-huh. No. Not him. Uh-uh. No. Well, you remember how I told you Mr. Negrig give me my job back?
Yeah, I remember that.
He did, just like always.
Oh, that's fine.
As soon as he read in the papers how they broke out of jail, he said I was right not to cause trouble. As soon as he found out about the jailbreak.
Well, we're not sure they're the same men yet, Mr. Gilmore.
Don't know why.
Sir?
Don't know why, ain't sure. Here's his picture.
This is the man who held you up?
Yeah, one and the same.
How about it, Joe?
Burton. The other victims also identified Burton as one of the men who'd held them up. With the name of the man, we at least had some place to start. We put in a call to Sacramento, and we talked to the police department up there. We found that the suspect had been arrested on charges of suspicion of burglary, suspicion of robbery, ADW, and assault with intent to do great bodily harm. In spite of the numerous arrests, Burton had only served 1 term in the county jail. We got all available information on him, and the search was intensified. We'd gotten reports from informants that the 3 men might try to escape across the border into Mexico. San Diego was notified of this, and Al Gayton was dispatched to the international boundary of Tijuana to aid the Mexican police. 2 days passed without news of the suspects. Monday, September 13th, Frank and I got back into the office from chasing down a lead that went nowhere.
Better check with the skipper.
Yeah, I'll do it right away. I got it. Robbery Friday. Yeah, all right, I'll take it. It's long distance San Francisco.
Might have gotten up there.
Huh? Hello. This Friday. Oh, yeah, Eddie. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we got the identification from Breton. No, nothing yet. When was that? That could be. It'd give him time, wouldn't it? Just a minute, Frank.
Yeah?
Eddie Vandervoort up there. When did these guys pull the first job?
Well, I think it was August 16th. Place over on Pico.
That's the first one, isn't it?
Yeah.
August 16th, Ed. No, the other one doesn't show up on any of the sheets. Kenneth Lechner. No, we're expecting it from Oklahoma. You guys will check it out for us then, huh? All right. Let us know as soon as you got something definite, will you? Right. Okay, Ed. Thanks for calling. Right. Bye.
What's he got?
Well, I got a rumble that Burton was up there the first part of August. He stayed about a week, he said.
Yeah.
Ed says he's got an informant down in the Fillmore district used to run with Burton. Might give us a lead on the partner.
How come?
Well, according to the informant, Burton met a guy up north. They got real chummy. They left town together.
Come up with a name?
Yeah, he did. Kirby Monet, M-O-N-E-T.
Been in trouble?
A couple of times. Petty stuff. Rumble's got it that he was always talking about going big, forming his own gang, cutting into the heavy stuff.
Matches?
Real good. Monet's description's the same as our number 2 man. Pictures of Kirby Monet arrived from San Francisco, and when they were shown to the victims of the thieves, we had a positive identification on our second suspect. Armed with this information, the job of the men in the field was considerably easier. Now they knew who they were looking for. 10:42 p.m. Frank and I started downstairs for our car.
Excuse me, Phil.
Yeah?
Can you tell me where the office of the chief is?
Down the hall and to the right.
Thanks.
Wait a minute, fella. Hold on. What do you want to see the chief about?
Well, it's personal.
Maybe you better tell me, huh?
If I wanted you, I'd ask it that way.
All right, get over the wall. Better shake him down, Frank.
All right, over here.
You don't have to go through all this. I'm not going to cause you any trouble.
Your name's Kenneth Lechner, isn't it?
That's right. If you couldn't find me, figured I'd come to you.
Frank and I took the suspect to the squad room, and we got in touch with Chief Detective Thad Brown. We told him what had happened, and he said he'd come over to the office as soon as possible. We shook Kenneth Lechner, but we found nothing. We asked him to tell us about the jailbreak.
I didn't have nothing to do with it. You got to believe that.
We'll let you tell us.
I'm giving it to you the way it happened.
Where are Monet and Burton?
I don't know. Last I saw them, they were out on West Pico.
You got an address?
No. They were sitting in the car. They had a place cased, and they were waiting for the crowd to clear before they took it.
You know what place it was?
That's a bar out there.
Got the name?
No, I haven't got any idea. I told you I want no part of it. That's the reason I left.
You haven't got any idea where the place is, huh?
No, none.
You want to take communications, Frank? Tell them about it?
Yeah. I'll get it right away.
You guys must have every cop in the country out looking for us. Never saw so much fuzz.
Yeah.
I can't go that route anymore. It doesn't work out for me. Never was any good at running.
Did you hear anything at all about the plans they were making?
No, not a lot. I don't think they trusted me very much. I was with them, but like an in-law or something. I'll tell you something, Sergeant.
What's that?
These guys are roof jobs, both of them.
What do you mean?
Well, they lost the road all the time talking about how they're going to put class back in holdups, going to form a big gang and really jump the cops. All the time talking like that. Roof jobs.
Mm-hmm. You got any idea where we can pick them up?
Ain't nothing I'd like better than to give you the address, but I ain't got it.
What about this car they're using? Can you give us a description of it?
Yeah, it's a 52 Nash 4-door.
Stolen?
Well, it must be. They had it when we left Highland Park.
Can you give us the number on the plate?
I don't think so. I can't pull it up. I don't think I ever really took a good look at it.
What about this machine gun? They got shells for it?
They're loaded with them. These two guys are heavy enough to start a small war on their own. Monet carries a chopper and a 45 in his belt. Burton's got 2 45s and a 38. He carries a 38 strapped to his leg. He's always laughing about it. Says even if he's picked up, he's got to take it out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, these guys are real far out. They've been reading too many comic books. All the time talking about Dillinger and Floyd. Burton even took to smoking cigars. Says it makes him look like Doc Barker.
Anything you can give us that'll help us nail him?
No, nothing.
All right, Lechner, let's go.
You take me to jail?
That's right.
Hey, you do me a favor, huh, Sergeant?
What's that?
Give me a cell by myself. I ain't much sleep in the last couple of days. I'd sure like to get some.
We'll see what we can do. All right, sit still a minute. All right, let's go.
You got to put these on again?
That's right. All right, come on. Get the word out?
Yeah, a little late.
What do you mean?
Burton and Monet have already hit the bar. Patrol car spotted them on the way out.
Yeah.
It was a beef, and the men in the car took Burton into custody.
Mm-hmm.
Dropped him into the car and started to bring him in. Hadn't gone more than a couple of blocks when Monet drove up, rammed the police car, and started shooting.
Anybody hurt?
Yeah. He took Burton away from the men in the unit and shot one of them.
How bad?
Well, he's at Georgia Street receiving now. They don't expect him to live.
We had Count Lechner held for the Oklahoma authorities. We contacted Captain Donahoe and told him what had happened. He'd taken over the search for the 2 suspects in the Pico area. A blockade had been set up on all streets leading into and out of the area. All vehicles were being stopped and searched. All pedestrians were being interrogated. Frank and I joined in the manhunt. By 6:30 the next morning, Wednesday, September 15th, the area had been covered without result. However, in checking all automobiles in the vicinity of the holdup, we'd come across a 1952 Nash, gray in color. The left front fender was damaged and matched the description of the suspect's car very close. We put a stakeout on the vehicle and it was kept under watch for the next 24 hours. During that time, no one approached it. We checked the license number with Auto Theft Division and found the car to be stolen. It had been taken from the owner 5 days before on September 10th. We brought Kenneth Lechner from the main jail, and he positively identified the car as the one driven by Monet and Burton. At the end of the surveillance, a crew from the crime lab came out and identified paint scrapings from the damaged fender as having come from the police car that had been rammed. A crew from Leighton Prince came out and went over the car. While they worked, Frank and I stood by.
Looks like we got it turned.
Well, it's not going to do us much good if we can't find the guy with the key. Well, he should be about finished now. I'll check with him.
All right. I'll walk over with you.
Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am. Something we can do for you?
You know what those men are doing to that car?
Police business.
You a cop?
That's right.
You tell me what's going on?
Investigation.
Of what, the car?
That's right.
What are you looking for?
Information.
Not going to tell me, huh?
Well, it'd be a little better if we didn't, ma'am.
Okay. But he's not going to like it, not a bit.
Who's that?
The fellow that owns the car. He's not going to like having all you guys roam around.
You know the man that owns the car?
Sure. He's beginning to get married. I know him.
What's his name?
Monet's kind of French-like, romantic.
How long you know him?
Not long. Sort of a whirlwind courtship, you'd say. Just met each other and we knew.
You know where this Monet is now?
Not right off. I know where he'll be.
Where's that?
At his place. I'm supposed to meet him there at 7:30 tonight. We got a date. Why, you want to talk to him?
That's right.
He's a nice fellow. You'll like him. Almost everybody does.
Is that right?
Never knew anybody met Kirby didn't want to be around him all the time. Everybody wants to be around Kirby. You know him. You'll see.
Well, I won't be too hard, ma'am.
Huh?
He's already convinced us. We had the girl, Drusilla Roth, show us where the suspect was living. The results of the investigation by Leighton Prince brought out several partial fingerprints. These were identified as belonging to both suspects. We checked with the landlady at the apartment. She verified the fact that Monet and Burton had moved into the place 3 days before. She told us that neither man was at home. In our company, we checked the room. Under a pile of dirty clothes in one of the bureau drawers, we found several boxes of ammunition for the 45s and the 38. There were also several hundred rounds of cartridges for the machine gun. Because of the physical structure of the building, it was decided that the best way to keep the place under surveillance would be for one team to cover the front door, another to watch the rear entrance, and a third to wait in the room itself. Frank called the office, and Sergeants Murphy, Rafferty, and Benson, along with Lieutenant Stoner, came out to help us. We instructed the manager to stay in her room and not let on to either of the suspects that we were in the building. We waited. 6:45 p.m.
Should be showing up pretty quick, huh?
Yeah. Any word from Georgia Street?
I talked to Stoner when he got here. They've given Simon a couple of transfusions. Figure they're going to be able to transfer him to General the first thing in the morning.
You going to make it then?
Well, looks like it. They took a 38 out of his left lung, 2 more out of his hip. Pretty rough going. What time you got?
6:47.
Should be here by now if he's going to keep that date.
Well, there's another one that comes first. At 7:06 p.m., there was a knock on the door. It was a signal that we'd arranged. We opened it and found that Lieutenant Stoner had come up to tell us that Gail Burton had been taken into custody. He'd approached the apartment, and as soon as the officers stopped him, he surrendered, offering no resistance. Stoner wanted to tell us that he and Benson would take the suspect downtown for booking. Frank and I settled back to wait for Monet.
9:20. Oh, I'd sure like a smoke.
Yeah.
Why is it, Joe, you and I always draw the stake inside the room where all we can do is sit?
I don't know. You usually ask for it that way, don't you?
Well, next time we're going to take one of the entrances. Sit out there in the car. Smoke when you want. If you want something to eat, you just run down the drugstore for a candy bar. It's a lot better duty, Joe.
Sounds like somebody coming tonight.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah.
All right, Monet, hold it right there.
Watch it, Joe.
See him?
Down this way.
All right, hold it. Any sign of him?
No. He might have gone down the stairs.
The apartment at the end of the hall.
Right.
Come on. All right, Monet, come on out. It's the last time around, Monet. Throw that gun out and you follow it.
Not coming out.
All right, let's go in. Wait a minute. I'll knock.
Hey, don't shoot me while I quit. I don't want to fight.
Throw the gun out here. Right there. Drop it.
All right, here it is. Do it like you say.
I got it. All right. Hands behind your head. Back out of the door. Come on, turn around. Keep those hands where we can see them.
Okay, I'm coming.
Now, don't shoot anymore. I won't give no more trouble.
All right, hold it right there. Now, don't move. Keep those hands up.
I'll shake it. Here's another one. 45. Out in his belt.
I'd have given it to you. I wasn't going to try anymore.
Sure. All right, keep still.
All right.
Take your hands down. Back of it. One at a time. And now turn around.
You going to take me in now?
That's right.
That cop I shot, he didn't die.
No, you're pretty lucky.
And all you got me for is robbery. That's all. Just robbery.
That's how it looks from here, doesn't it?
Robbery, that's all. Jail term doesn't make a lot of difference.
Is that right?
Sure. Isn't a jail built can hold me? Not one. I'll get out. I'll be running again. You'll see.
I wouldn't give out.
Huh?
Bigger men than you said they'd come back.
Yeah, show me. I'd sure like to meet him.
Don't worry, you will.
Kenneth Nelson Lechner was returned to the state of Oklahoma for prosecution on a murder charge. A hold was placed against him by the state of California in the event he is paroled. Gail Claude Burton and Kirby Arno Monet were tried and convicted of robbery in the first degree, 6 counts. Violation of Section 4574 PC, bringing a firearm into a prison, violation of the machine gun law, and assault with intent to commit murder. Robbery in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment for a period of not less than 5 years. Violation of Section 4574 is punishable by imprisonment for a period of not less than 1 year in the state penitentiary. Violation of the machine gun law is punishable by a term in the state prison not to exceed 5 years and or a fine of $5,000. Assault with intent to commit murder is punishable by imprisonment for a period of not less than 1 nor more than 14 years in the state penitentiary.
You have just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
My name's Regan. I get 10 a day in expenses from a detective bureau run by a guy named Anthony J. Lyon. They call me the Lion's Eye.
Jack Webb is Jeff Regan, Investigator, as CBS offers you hard-boiled action and mystery and thrilling adventure in tonight's story of The Lawyer and the Lady.
The Cosmopolitan Building is on 7th Street near Olive, downtown L.A. International Detective Bureau is up on the 3rd floor, Suite 308. Right across from an elevator that hasn't been inspected since 29, when the guy who built the place took a vacation up at Folsom. I always use the stairs. Well, the plaster's bad, but the rent's cheap, and the Lion says his office is just the kind of place that invites business. He's got a leather chair there, about the shape of a fallen biscuit. That's for him to relax on. And right next to a desk with some blank checks and an inkwell, there's a hard, straight chair. That's for the client. The Lion got mad when our last customer asked if the chair was wired. Well, when I walked in last Thursday night about 6 o'clock, he was staring at that empty chair. wishful thinking.
Regan! Christmas is coming.
Well, that's news.
It's the time of year when everybody's nice to everybody else.
Somebody give you a calendar?
I got better than that. It's a check.
From who?
His name's Kramer. He's a big lawyer.
Do we need one again?
He's our new client. He wants to see you.
What about?
He'll tell you.
You tell me.
I want you to be nice to him. He's a big man. His office is in the Park Central building. Abercrombie, Kramer, and Schmidt.
A trio.
It's an important legal firm in this city.
Well, what's the job?
I told you he'd give you all of it.
Look, the last time I waited for a client to talk, he died.
Now, look here. The kind of dough he pays, you could do janitor work for him and not ask questions.
Oh, you never learn.
This is a certified check. Came by special messenger. He's waiting for you now.
What else?
The message said he wanted all this done confidentially. No police. You understand?
You'd kidnap your own mother for cash.
You're not alive.
And then you'd starve to death charging yourself ransom.
I'm going to be patient with you, Regan.
No, this is another rotten deal.
These big legal outfits can't afford to be dishonest.
You've been making a living doing it?
Kramer's in legitimate practice. I checked on
Oh,
him.
sure you
I pay your salary, and I take things as I see them.
Well, you need stronger glasses. Well, I left him sitting there holding the check up to the light. He had both arms above his head. He reminded me of a two-armed slot machine. I walked the 4 blocks over to the Park Central building, and an elevator operator with a cardboard collar took me up to the 7th floor. Abercrombie, Kramer, and Schmidt had a flock of stables in the back with a fire escape. The names were hung out in silver. I figured if they were ambulance chasers, they used a motorcycle escort. I opened the door and stepped into a green carpet that needed mowing. Then I heard a noise at the deep end where the trout stream should have been. She had hair the color of smoke. The rest of her spiraled up to match. But she looked unhappy, like a termite in a granite quarry. She glanced at her typewriter, and then up at me. The Remington 1.
We've already ordered our Christmas cards. Get them in July.
Well, maybe I'm not selling.
You should. You're the type.
Kramer in?
He might be. But he never sends cards. Doesn't believe in Christmas.
Well, he sent my office a check.
Did he? What office is that?
I'm Regan, International Detective Bureau.
Stick to greeting cards.
Kramer sent for me.
Oh? He wants protection, huh?
You tell me.
Maybe it's something else.
Now, let's find out.
In a minute. He's busy right now.
What's the matter with Abercrombie?
He's dead.
Schmidt?
Wishes he was. Palm Springs with a hangover.
Yeah, real nice bunch. How long you worked for him?
Too long. My jokes are newer.
Well, Benny's making a move. Maybe he'll hire you.
I don't like funny men. What do you do when you're not working?
All depends on who I'm with.
Thought maybe you were antisocial. That's Kramer's.
I was ahead of her trying the door, but it was locked from the inside. She fumbled around on the desk and finally brought out a key. Kramer was sitting at his desk holding onto the front of his shoulder. His face was white and he wasn't feeling too good.
Fire escape. He got through there. And he called Dr. Sorensen. This wouldn't look good in the papers. No police.
That's a big order.
Well, that's a big hole in his shoulder. Well, it was too late to start looking around the fire escape, and when Dr. Sorensen showed up, he called a private ambulance and had Kramer taken to a private hospital. The doc said he wouldn't be able to talk until morning, and, well, if they wanted it quiet, there was no sense getting homicide all excited. Emmy went to the hospital with him, and I hung around the office for a little while. Everything was locked up tight. The files, his desk, and the liquor cabinet. So I figured it was time to give the lion the nod. I doused the lights and went downstairs. Outside, the street was kind of vacant except for a steamroller with whiskers washing down the gutters. It dodged around a big green car parked by the curb, and then it swivel-hipped around my car, where a little guy in a trench coat was leaning in looking at my registration tag. When I tapped him on the shoulder, he looked confused, like he was trying to catch a cyclone on a paper bag.
Huh?
You looking for something?
Oh, no. No, just,
Looking.
Yeah, that's right. Looking.
Come on, blow your nose.
A little cold, that's all.
Tell me about it before your throat gets sore.
I told you, just looking.
The car belongs to the finance company in case you got extra keys.
No, Pilgrim. Never borrowed a buggy in my life.
You can't drive.
How'd you guess?
Come on, you. Let's pour it out.
Sure. You the guy?
What guy?
Guy says there. Regan.
I might be.
Don't want to make a mistake.
Deal, will you?
Somebody wants to see you.
Who?
Guy.
Well, I don't know him.
Yeah. Guy says please.
Reads Emily Post.
That's right. Friend of mine. Weighs 285 pounds. He's across the street in the ice cream parlor. Last stool on the end.
Well, I'll tell you, somebody else is carrying my books home today.
Oh, we wouldn't care. Big man. Gonna see him?
Can't he walk?
Says if you argue, mention the name Kramer. Now you gonna see him?
How can I miss? He weighs 285 pounds. Oh, it didn't figure, but sometimes you look and nothing figures. Kramer had taken one in the shoulder, and before he'd been able to talk, the lights had gone out, and he wound up in a hospital. Well, somebody had an angle, and maybe it was the guy across the street. I found him sitting all alone, about 300 pounds of beard in a plaid coat. He was picking all the strawberries out of his ice cream. Hey, you said for me?
Mm-hmm. Regan?
You got it.
Have something. Great banana split here. 4 kinds of ice cream.
I'm on a diet.
Oh, I never worry about things like that. It's a mistake. You only live once. Know me?
You got a name?
Spec Jameson. You know me now?
You got a grudge with Kramer?
Yeah.
You shot at him from the fire escape.
I did? When?
Half hour ago?
Anybody see me?
No.
That's good. How'd I do?
He got it in the shoulder. He'll live.
Up to that point, it could have been me.
Well, it's going to make a good story for the police.
For anybody. I'm clean as a whistle. You sure you won't have something?
Now, look, I got a date, Fatso. Let's fan this out.
Oh, sure.
How about Kramer?
Oh, yeah. Where'd you say he was?
Hospital.
Oh, yeah. He hire you for protection?
Maybe.
Regan, you got a lot to learn about life.
No, just about living.
You catch on quick.
To what?
Now, you take me, for instance.
Your complexion's not so good.
It'll improve. Besides, I don't like trouble, Regan.
You'll have to get used to it.
It's just there's some things a man can't stand. Can't take lying down.
Name 3.
No, I just want you to understand I know what I'm doing, that's all. And this is what I'm doing. All right, Regan. Back on your feet.
Yeah, they serve ice cream and big dishes,
I'll
don't
give
they?
you a boost. Here's my hand.
Take off the knuckles.
Quiet, Regan. There's some more metal in my pocket.
I don't need a Geiger counter.
I said you were smart. Now get this. It's a clean sweep. You're staying out of it.
Suppose I stick around.
Then I'll unglue you.
I left him sitting there with his ice cream. Wouldn't have done any good to trade fists with him. But there was something in the way he talked about Kramer and the shooting that made it a Sunday puzzle. I found a phone booth and put in a call to the Lion.
Regan, where you been? You see Kramer? What'd he say?
Well, now, which one do you want first?
What about Kramer?
He was all shot up.
Target practice?
Some guy with a grudge.
If he plays like that, yell cop.
Look, they'll want to see you. No police, remember?
What are you talking about?
Another bum client.
Why do these things always happen to me?
Because your palm is faster than your brain.
Every case has it.
Look, this is a 3-ring circus, and we haven't even got any peanuts.
Well, maybe I should have found out what he wanted.
Oh, you say that now.
Who's got the grudge?
A sweet tooth. Calls himself Spec Jameson.
Spec, where's he fit in?
He wouldn't stand still to show me his tea leaves.
You talked to?
We met.
When people start asking questions, we don't want to be stuck without any answers. You get out and run down some dope on this man Spec.
What are you going to do?
Don't worry, I'll take care of my end.
Yeah, most people do. Well, this job had more ups and downs than the Berlin airlift. I turned the phone book over to some drunk with a beer breath, and I walked over a couple of blocks to the morgue. I mean, the one where they keep dead newspapers. I got a friend who works in the file room of the L.A. Times. After 15 years of it, he's got about as much adrenaline as an old magazine in the attic.
Nope. No, I never heard of a Spec Jameson. Probably a nickname, isn't it? You know, Spec, short for glasses?
Yeah, I caught the drift.
Thought I was going to say spectacles, didn't you?
Hey, look, let's try this for size.
Yeah.
Big fat guy, but always hungry.
Mention any friend?
Kramer, and he wasn't a friend.
Like Adams in last Thursday's paper.
What'd he do?
Executed the same day in Sing Sing.
Spec Jameson.
Uh-huh. Released from Quentin day before yesterday.
Let me see.
That's all it says. Served full 10-year sentence, continuous on 4 counts.
Somebody threw a book at him.
Yeah, maybe. Tell you in a minute.
Try December 38.
This case would have come up in November. Yeah, there we are. Yeah. You take these.
Yeah.
Hey, look at the funny skirts. Short, weren't they? Hey, here's one. War impossible, says
Look,
Bennett.
let's stick to the subject.
November 17th, Jameson appeal denied.
Read it, man.
A lot of stuff. He was in the rackets.
Go on.
Judge said unusual completeness of prosecution's case made retrial impossible. Continuous sentence upheld.
Who was the judge?
Govern, he's dead. Here's what you want. Special prosecutor Joseph W. Kramer.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Joseph W. Kramer was brilliantly relentless work for the forces of good in Los Angeles.
Yes, it's for you.
Okay, thanks. Yeah?
Mr. Regan?
Yeah.
This is Emmy, Mr. Kramer's secretary. Are you always this hard to find?
Well, that depends on where you look.
Mr. Kramer wants to see you.
You talking now?
He's feeling much better. The doctor said it was just a flesh wound.
What kind?
38.
All right. Where's the hospital?
It's a little place on Hawthorne. Mrs. Kramer will show you. If you don't mind going by the Biltmore and picking her up.
I haven't got my car.
Use Mr. Kramer's. It's in the garage there.
Is she expecting me?
I phoned.
15 minutes.
Good. He wants to thank you for what you did.
Well, what'd I do?
Kept the police out of it.
It's his show, but it may close.
What do you mean?
I ran into Spec Jameson.
Oh?
Now, you still want the police out of it?
I don't know. Mr. Kramer will tell you when he sees you.
You sound like you're changing jobs. So I went over to the garage, and I picked up his car, and then I drove to the hotel entrance. While I was arguing with the cab driver, Mrs. Kramer walked out. 45, a little tired around the eyes. She was wearing a white sheet, double bed size, under a mink coat that must have set somebody back $10,000. She didn't look like a wife that Kramer had had.
I hope this isn't inconveniencing you.
No, it's not.
Are you sure my husband's all right?
He's talking, according to Emmy.
Emmy. She's there with him.
She's his secretary.
Funny, isn't it? I'm his wife, yet she spends more time with him than I do.
Well, that's business.
Even now. When he's been hurt, she's there first.
She was there when it happened.
Of course. I guess I... Oh, never mind. You're a detective, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right.
Mr. Kramer hired you to protect him from that Jameson.
I never found out. Maybe.
I've been so worried about him. At the trial, Jameson said he'd kill him if it was the last thing he ever did. You know, I always thought it was taking an awful...
Hey, take it easy, lady.
You know the story.
Emmy?
She's young, pretty. I have to spend my time at bridge fights.
Does it help?
No.
How long you been married to him?
Next month, 18 years. I don't look the same way anymore.
Neither does he.
Funny what life does to you, isn't it? I was his secretary. Once. That's how I met him.
Look, how far to the hospital?
It's only a few more blocks. You go straight
Hang
down.
Who do you know that drives a big green Nash?
No one.
Well, he knows us. Been following us since we left the hotel.
How do you...
Is he still with us?
Yes. I can't understand a thing like this happening. Why would anybody want to follow us?
Maybe it's a friend of your husband's.
Jameson?
He tried once tonight. Maybe it'd be better to get you.
I'm scared.
Come on, get out.
Mr. Regan!
The green Nash had been tailing me. I shook it on the last corner. There are lots of them, but it might have been the same one that was parked by my car downtown earlier. Oh, it made no sense, but I wasn't taking any chances. Only before I could get the door open, the Nash came sliding around the other side of the block. I shoved Mrs. Kramer into the floorboards and slid into the room. A lot of glass got broken fast. By the time I could separate my teeth from the clutch pedal, the car had gone. I shook Mrs. Kramer, but she didn't shake. She was dead.
You are listening to the story of The Lawyer and the Lady, tonight's adventure with Jeff Regan, Investigator. Listen, this is good news. Good news for you if you're between the ages of 20 and 26 and a half, married or single, a high school graduate, and want to fly for the United States Air Force. Yes, the Air Force Aviation Cadet Program is offering you the opportunity to become a pilot officer in the mightiest Air Force in history. You can be one of the Air Force's men of renown. And there's more offered than the pride you feel in being a member of America's flying team. For after your 52 weeks of training, you'll graduate as a second lieutenant in the Air Force with an income of more than $300 per month. Remember, the Air Force offers you what it offered General Jimmy Doolittle, General Carl Spaatz, and General Hoyt Vandenberg. Now, at 42, the Air Force Chief of Staff. Call at your local Army and Air Force recruiting station tomorrow. Apply to become an aviation cadet. And now, back to the story of The Lawyer and the Lady and Jeff Regan, Investigator.
Well, it all made sense, like a Ubangi with a piccolo. It started when the Lion sent me over to see a lawyer named Kramer. I got there just in time to meet Emmy, his receptionist, and find Kramer with a bullet in his shoulder. The hospital took over, and I left. That's when I ran into Spec Jameson, an ex-con who Kramer put away some 10 years ago. He turned out to have a lot of stomach and a big hate for the lawyer. And then I got a call from Emmy to pick up Mrs. Kramer. I did, and the shots began, and she ended up a candidate for the city morgue. Well, I called homicide, and I sent out some boys to clean up. I gave them what I knew, and I moved on out to see Kramer. The Angels of Mercy Hospital turned out to be a private place off Hawthorne. 2 stories of cement set down in the middle of a clover field. It figured that they only held a thermometer to patients that could make a big noise with a cash register. Kramer showed in an upstairs room next to a fire escape. He was climbing into an overcoat. And when he saw me, he looked unhappy, like a pointer with a broken tail.
Well, Regan, I'm glad you came to see me.
Tell me that later.
What do you mean?
How's the shoulder?
Oh, a little annoying, but it's all right.
Well, that figures.
Why?
It was a neat shot, just enough to raise a little fever.
What are you driving at?
Give it a chance. It'll sink in.
Come on, let's get out of here.
All right.
Picked up my wife downtown?
Yeah.
Good. She worries a lot. You know, tell you what, Regan, I'll send a check around in the morning for another 100. That all right?
Make it 1,000.
What's that for?
Insurance against guys like you.
Never mind that, Regan.
Why didn't you tell the Lion what you wanted in the first place?
I didn't know.
I got another story.
Well, you're wrong.
You knew Spec Jameson was out.
No reason I should tell you that.
I'm rehearsing a witness, that's all.
What?
Yeah, now let's hear what you did to him.
Nothing, not a thing. He can tell you that.
In 38, you got the book thrown at him.
He was a public enemy.
So's Smog.
Regan, a man in my position...
Maybe that's it. Maybe you're the kind of shyster that builds a rap on convictions.
Well, grant you had helped. That's all you want.
So he hated you.
He made threats.
What cooled him off?
$10,000.
When?
After I discovered he meant business, I sent someone with the money.
Figured Jameson forget everything for cash.
Men of his stripe always will.
Well, you made a mistake.
Everybody does sometimes. I guess Jameson is still using his gun.
No.
But my shoulder will mend.
Your wife won't.
What do you mean?
She's dead.
No.
Homicide will tell you different.
I'd better go down to see them.
Yeah.
That bullet was meant for me.
Yeah, like you said, everybody makes mistakes. Well, we climbed in the taxi and headed for headquarters. Kramer looked confused. He mumbled a few words about what a good cook his wife had been, and how he'd always tried to protect her from the stuff that he'd done to make a success. He was the kind of guy that always figured it was better to make a deal than face facts. Now he had to face a backfire. Well, there were a couple of newspaper photographers in front of the place. Kramer's shoulders dropped a couple of notches, then he headed for inside. I started in behind him, but an arm stopped me.
Regan, come here.
What are you doing out of bed?
Sit up. Get back in the taxi.
Look out, that meter will bite you.
I'm not paying the fare. Downtown, driver. Okay, Mike.
You know the cops are going to love you for this.
They can hear your side of it later.
Sure, and you'll stand behind me.
Now, Regan, I'll tell you how I speak of this.
She gets killed. It was a mistake.
Oh, now, that takes a big brain.
Kramer's got enemies. Said enemy, Dylan and the wife Regan to get Kramer.
That's the last chapter.
And we'd like the next one. Turn in said enemy, and we'll pick us up a nice fat reward.
Homicide started with Jameson already.
They're gonna be surprised.
What do you mean?
He didn't do it.
How do you know?
I look into things. That's how I know.
Well, all right, big shot. Open it up.
It goes this way. 15 minutes after I talked to you, I put a call into the cops.
Saying what?
That I don't like my operator being threatened by ex-cons. What happens?
You tell me.
The police themselves take Jameson out of circulation. He was locked up before Mrs. Kramer got found. He's sitting in the Hollywood Station House right now with a smile on his face.
Talking?
No. Eating ice cream.
Well, now it really made sense, like a mermaid on a bicycle. If Jameson didn't throw the lead, I had to find out who did. The taxi dropped me off downtown across from the Park Central building, and I started up the elevator to Kramer's office. It figured to be the time to get a look inside that locked desk. When I opened the door marked Abercrombie, Kramer, and Schmidt, the place was dark. I moved into Kramer's office and started a little work on the desk. It took me about 10 minutes to get inside. Nothing showed in the first 2 drawers, but in the third, I picked up a box of Panatellas and I looked under it. That's where I found a .38 with 1 bullet missing. Well, ballistics could do something about it, so I crammed it in my overcoat pocket and I started outside. That's when the door opened and the little guy with the runny nose walked in. He was wearing a suit the color of an avocado and his face looked like a fried banana.
It's a nice rug, huh?
You from the cleaners?
I make my own spots. Sit down, Regan. We're going to talk.
I'll take it standing.
We prefer you sitting.
It's your gun.
More natural that way.
You got a name, Buster?
They call me the Dove.
The bird.
No cracks. Just the Dove.
Peace mission?
It is. Resting.
All right, what is it this time?
Where's Kramer?
China.
Regan, you're an unlucky contestant.
If you don't like my answers, try somebody else.
That's what I'm doing, correcting mistakes.
Like shooting the wrong guy.
Like leaving a witness. I had to get rid of my Nash on account of you.
You killed her, now you're waiting for her husband.
Of course I killed her, but don't try to change the subject. See what I'm talking about now.
Well, I don't like the spotlight.
You should have stuck your nose in here, Regan. It'll bleed.
Well, let's start with yours. I dove for him, and the gun went off, only it wasn't pointed at me. Kramer was standing in the doorway, pulling a trigger like a kid at a bubblegum machine. I figured the floor was safer, so I flattened out. The Dove tried the same, only he hit the wastebasket.
Did I get him?
Well, he looks as dead as he'll ever be.
A cheap murdering...
Look, let me hold the gun, huh, Kramer?
Yes. Oh, Regan, there's a bottle in the cabinet there.
Sure. Here you are.
Thank you.
What are you going to do now?
I don't know. Call the police, I guess.
I thought you were with them.
I came down in their car to get some of my files.
On the old Jameson case?
Yes.
You want to tell me?
Oh, it's about as you know. He was a small-time grifter. I gave myself a big name by prosecuting him, built my business and the reputation it gave me.
You told the police why he hates you?
Oh, yes. I intend to stand trial for killing this man.
You're growing up, Kramer.
Who was he, anyway?
The Dove.
No driver's license. Oh, yes, here it is. Dove Duval. Regan, look at this.
That's a lot of money.
It's $10,000. Same amount of money I sent to Jameson to stay away from me. Looks like the chickens came home to roost, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does.
Well, police are waiting. I'd better go and tell them about this.
Go on.
You coming?
No, I'll meet you there, Kramer. I got a late date. I gave the boys downstairs the high sign, then I moved out of there fast. I found Emmy's place just off Normandy. It was a brand-new duplex with a gilt-edged driveway and stocks and bonds for awnings. For a business girl, she really did all right. I was a couple of hours overdue, but the girl with the smoky hair knew how to wait. There was a candle burning in her window and 2 more in her eyes. It took me a little time.
But now you're here.
Uh-huh.
Well, aren't you going to do something about it?
Yeah. Talk.
Mr. Regan, what's the matter with you?
I've been working hard.
Oh, is that all?
Now, listen, lady. This is just too packed, too neat. The ends tied together like Siamese twins.
I'm alone.
Yeah, but you don't want to be. Your boss just rubbed out a killer named Dove.
What?
It was self-defense. I'm a witness, and he'll be out of it inside a week.
Well, then what are we bothering about?
A guy named Jameson. Nobody will believe him.
Why should they?
Because they didn't hire the Dove.
Who did?
You.
Oh, Mr. Regan.
All right, maybe it was your boss. He primed me with a story about giving Jameson 10 G's. Only one ever saw that dough was the Dove.
Well?
That was his price for killing Mrs. Kramer.
You're out in left field, Mr. Regan. I was working.
You were keeping me outside till Kramer could throw a small bullet into his shoulder.
Why would he do that?
To point up that Jameson was still after him.
But he was.
I figured different. And homicide's going to like my way.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, this gun has a different version.
Where'd you get it?
Kramer's bottom drawer. And the caliber is going to fit the hole in your boss's shoulder.
Well, that's it. You've got it all now.
Yeah. You know, you got a real nice hair.
Yeah?
That San Quentin water's going to ruin it. Well, the whole thing came apart like a paper hat in a shower bath. Seems that when Jameson got out of prison and threatened Kramer, the lawyer and his secretary figured that it was a good time to get rid of the wife. I suppose she interfered with their skiing or something. Anyway, they hired the Dove to do the job and then got rid of him just so he couldn't ever come to bat for the fall guy, Jameson. Yeah, they had a perfect frame fixed for him, and I was picked to decorate the edges, only it didn't work. Everybody was positive about this one. Kramer knew he was going to win. Emmy knew she was in for a big cut, and the Lion knew he was going to collect a fat fee. They should have all figured it. This is the year for upsets.
Jack Webb is featured as Jeff Regan with Herb Butterfield as Anthony J. Lyon. It's CBS at the same time next week for more hard-boiled action and mystery with Jeff Regan, Investigator. Written by Jackson Gillis and D. Jack Newman. Produced by Sterling Tracy. Featured in tonight's story were Carol Matthews, Marvin Miller, Lou Krugman, Herb Vigran, Mary Lansing, and Larry Dodkin. Original music for this program is by Milton Charles. This is Bob Stevenson speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to juvenile detail. A series of housebreakings has taken place in your city. The articles taken and the method of operation indicate a juvenile thief. Your job, find him.
It was Tuesday, July 6th. It was hot in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of juvenile detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Powers. My name's Friday. We were on our way out from the office, and it was 10:36 a.m. when we got to the old Central Jail building. Crime lab.
Ray? Back here, Joe. Come back. Finishing up. Hi, Ray. Hank, how's it going? It's hot. It's going to hit the 90. Mm-hmm. Probably will, too. Any water around? Bottle over there in the corner. Help yourself. Thanks. How about you, Joe?
No, thanks. You got anything for us, Ray?
About the same as usual. Take a look. Same entrance. Cut the screen on one of the back windows, broke the glass, and climbed in.
Any prints?
None we could find. Here's a picture of the edge of the screen. Here. There you see the cut edges.
We got anything from it?
Not much. The figure was done with a knife. If you come up with that, we might be able to tell you if you got the right one.
Mm-hmm.
What about the physical evidence in the house, Ray? No, not much. We got a couple of partials. Lifted them from the glass top on the dresser. Here.
Let me fix it. Yeah, you can see here, not much to go on.
Match up with the prints from the other jobs?
A couple of points, but not enough to build a case on. Only thing you got that definitely ties this one in with the others is the footprint.
Another one?
Mm-hmm. Found it in the soft earth underneath the window. Give me that print, will you, Frank?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, here you go.
Thanks. Here. There, you can see it clearly, the heel mark. Same as in the others.
Did you get a cast of it?
Mm-hmm. You want to see it?
No. No reason if you've looked it over.
You got the same thing on the picture.
Yeah. Anything else?
You had it.
Well.
You got a cigarette? Ran out. I haven't had a chance to get some more.
Here.
Thanks. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah. You been able to chase down the rubber heel for us?
No luck. We contacted half a dozen firms. They all tell us the same thing. It's made special. Probably some small factory that specializes in custom-made shoes. Might be some sort of correcting shoe. You know, FP.
Oh, yeah.
You've had it for a couple of weeks now. Where do you sit on it?
All right, well, we found it. We've talked to about every repairman in town. None of them have seen this kind of a heel before. None of them can tell us where it was made.
Mm-hmm.
Checked with the doctors in the area. None of them know the brand. Figured it might be one of them who sent for it.
Nothing on it, though.
No? It's a new one to them, too.
Yeah. Wish there was more I could give you, fellas.
Well, that's all right, Range. It seems no matter which way we turn, there's another wall waiting for us.
How about burglary? Anything come in from them?
Well, they're checking it all down. They got the same thing we came up with.
Anything turn up on the stolen merchandise?
No. Burglaries made all the checks. Pawn shops have been alerted. Stuff's all cheap costume jewelry. No reason to try and hawk it. They wouldn't get anything for it.
Brings you back to a motive. Why is he pulling the jobs in the first place?
Well, Ray, we'll file that with where the heels are made. About the only thing we can figure is that some kid out for kicks gets his laughs from breaking into houses. There's no other reason. Stuff he's stolen you can buy by the carload in any dime store.
A couple of times he's left money alone when it's in plain sight to steal some cheap pin.
Looks like you got yourself a wild one.
Yeah. Well, what can you tell us about the footprints, eh?
Not much. They found under the window. Kid wasn't moving when they were made. Can't figure his stride.
What about weight?
Only a guess, Joe.
Yeah.
I'd say it came in about 140. Could be 15 pounds one way or the other.
What about the size?
7. Looks like 7C.
Mm-hmm. You sure about that?
Well, pretty sure.
Not much, is it?
Best we can do.
Okay. Last place, the woman was real sore.
Don't blame her.
Not about the costume jewelry. She didn't much care about that. Some prize gladiolus she was raising. Kid tramped all over him. Real sore that he stepped on.
Don't blame her.
Says when she catches him, she's going to give him a good talking to. Tramping up all her plants.
Well, we'll see you, Ray.
Yeah. Sure haven't got much to go on, have you?
You called it. Frank and I went back to the office, and we pulled all of the reports that we had on the thefts. We spent the rest of the morning going over them. The method of operation was apparent. Each Friday night for the past 2 months, between the hours of 8:30 and 11 p.m., a single thief had entered a home in a wealthy section of town and stolen as much worthless costume jewelry as he could carry out. On each occasion, the entry was made through a rear window. In those cases where the window was locked, the thief broke the glass and undid the latch. On each occasion, he'd left at least one footprint in the dirt around the house. The heel impression was of a type that we hadn't been able to identify. We'd gotten pictures of it out to all major shoe manufacturers, but they were unable to tell us where the shoes had been made. We canvassed the area where the thefts were taking place without results. Rolling stakeouts were set up on Friday nights, and they'd netted us nothing. The thief approached the home, broke into them, stole what he wanted, and then he left without being apprehended or seen. Throughout the investigation, Frank and I had been working closely with Burglary Division, but their men hadn't been able to come up with any more than we had. At 1:15 p.m., Frank and I left the office. We got something to eat, and then we started to check the playgrounds again. At each one, we'd contact a member of the park department and ask them if they'd seen anyone wearing a pair of shoes similar to the pictures that we had. Every place we got the same answer. None of them had. We stopped groups of boys on the street and asked to see their shoes. We checked malt shops, drugstores, pool halls, and bowling alleys without any result. The same operation had been going on for the past 2 weeks without bettering our chances of apprehending the suspect. 5:30 p.m. Frank and I left one of the larger bowling alleys in town and headed back to the office.
Boy, I'll sure be glad to get home tonight.
Yeah.
Hot.
Sure was.
Yeah, must have gone over 90.
Yeah.
Must have. Paper said 90, but it was hotter, I can always tell.
How can you always tell?
My feet, Joe. Always tell with my feet. Cold day, I can walk for a couple of miles and not have any trouble. Come the hot weather, and if I step off a curb, I got misery.
Yeah.
I think I'll get me another pair of shoes. Kind with the holes in them.
What?
Kind with the holes in. You know what I mean. You see them all the time in the men's magazines, kind of cloth on the top. You know, real thin leather on the sole and cloth over the top, a lot of little holes in it. They're cool. see them all the time in the magazines, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see them all the time.
You know, it's got a picture of a guy wearing them with a tan suit on. Always got on the same suit, and he's got a straw hat with one of those bands made out of feathers, you know, like kind of snake kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Guy's always in a tan suit and a hat. Well, maybe you got to have one of those before you can buy the shoes, you figure?
One of those suits?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're not talking much today.
Haven't got room to get in. You're doing it all.
Oh, hi. That's pretty funny. It's hot.
Must have been over 90.
I was just about to say it
Slow
must
down.
have been over 90.
Slow down.
Yeah?
Take it easy. See a kid up there?
No.
Up there. Just coming out of the drugstore in the corner, waiting for the light there.
Oh, yeah. Tennis player, huh?
Well, he's wearing a pair of canvas shoes, looks like from here.
Yeah. Want to check him?
You might as well. That's good here.
All right.
You want to wait?
No, I'll come with you.
Hey, fella, hold it up.
What?
Wait a minute.
You mean me?
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you want?
Police officer, son. We'd like to ask a couple questions.
What for? I haven't done anything.
No, we didn't say you did. We just want to ask a couple questions.
Oh, I thought there for a minute you were after me.
My partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Hi.
Oh, I'm Alec McCarran. What do you want to ask?
You been playing tennis?
No, just practicing. I go down to the handball courts at school and practice. Couldn't get a game this afternoon. Why?
Let's take a look at your shoes, will you?
What?
Your shoes there that you're wearing. We want to see them.
What is this, a joke?
No.
Well, sure sounds like a rib. You guys sure you're really cops?
Well, here's the ID again. You want to look? Now, let us look at your shoes, will you?
Okay, no reason not to. There.
The soles we want to see.
You sure this isn't some kind of joke?
Look, son, no joke.
Come on, Alec. Let's see the soles.
Sure, there. Well, you satisfied now?
Yeah.
Okay for me to go now?
Straight down.
Why, say, what is this anyway? Oh, it's stopping me in the shoe thing. You looking for something special?
Not anymore. We just found it. Frank and I took the boy back to Georgia Street and checked his name through R&I. We found that there was no previous arrest record for him. 7:15 p.m. We took him into one of the interrogation rooms.
Your full name's Alec McCarran, is that right?
Yeah.
How old are you?
16.
Where do you live?
4782 Fargo Street.
Where's that, son?
Up above Silver Lake.
Mm-hmm.
You live with your family?
Yeah.
Mother and father both living?
Yeah. When are you going to tell me what this is all about?
Got a job, son?
Not now. I got one coming up.
Doing what?
Box boy in a market. Supposed to go to work next week. The kid they got now is going in the Army. They promised me his job.
You go to school?
Yeah, I'm a senior in high school. Look, it's getting late. My dad's going to start to worry. Is it okay if I call him?
We'll call him for you in a minute.
Thanks. What do I tell him when he wants to know what's happening?
We'll talk to him.
Okay.
What do you usually do nights?
I don't know what you mean.
Well, evening hours. What do you do?
I stay home mostly. Got to get my grades up for college. I usually study.
During summer vacation?
My dad helps me. I got to make up a couple of credits.
Thought you had to go to summer school for that.
I guess I'll get out of school late.
You study every night?
Just about, yeah.
But not everyone, huh?
No, I go out sometimes.
When?
Mostly the weekends, Friday.
What do you do when you go out? And where do you go?
Show sometimes.
Anywhere else?
Bowling. Sometimes just down to the library to get a book. Mostly to the show.
Do you go with anybody?
No.
Where'd you get those tennis shoes?
My dad got them for me.
Where?
Place back east. I had them a long time.
You know the name of the place?
Not right off. Someplace in Maine, I think.
Mm-hmm. Do you know anybody else who's got a pair like them?
I've never seen any others. I told you, my father got them for me. Used to wear them when he was a kid. Sent back to Maine for them.
Mm-hmm.
You guys won't tell me what this is all about, huh?
Yeah, we will. There've been a string of burglaries in town, house breakings. The person that's been pulling them wears a pair of shoes just like yours.
Like mine?
That's right.
You think I'm the one?
Well, it looks like it, doesn't it?
I better call my father.
All right, we'll call him for you.
Isn't the only pair of shoes in the world, you know.
Only ones we've been able to find, son.
There must be a lot more.
Well, we're willing to see them. Hello, this is Sergeant Friday, Los Angeles Police Department. Who am I speaking to, please? Yes, sir. Your son's here. Suspicion of burglary. That's right. Well, that may be so, Mr. McCarran, but that's the charge. Yes, sir. No. We'll bring him to his home. Sure you can. Just a minute. I want to talk to you, son.
Hello, Dad? Yeah. Uh-huh. At the police station. No, it's no joke. What? Well, I'll tell you when I see you. Yeah, bye.
All right, Alec. Get your sweater.
You taking me home now?
That's right.
Guess Dad set you straight, huh? Told you it was all a mistake?
No, I'm afraid he didn't.
What do you mean? Didn't he tell you this whole thing is wrong?
Well, he tried to, yeah, that's right.
Well, then you're going to have to let me go.
No, afraid not.
But you have to if it's a mistake.
Yeah, if it's a mistake. Frank and I left the office with the boy, and we drove out to his home. It was a large two-story colonial house overlooking Silver Lake. We were admitted to the place by a maid, and we were shown into the living room. The boy's father, Henry McCarran, was waiting for us.
You're the officer?
Yes, sir, that's right. My partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
How do you do? You want to tell me what this is all about now?
Well, it looks like your son's mixed up in some burglaries, Mr. McCarran.
You're aware that's a pretty serious charge?
Yes, sir, that's right.
I suppose you have some kind of proof to make that statement?
We think so.
Mind telling me what it is?
Well, while we were talking, would it be all right to look at the boy's room?
Do you think that's quite fair?
Necessary, Mr. McCarran.
What if I say you can't?
Well, then we'll have to come back with a warrant.
All right, this way. What do you got to say about this, Alec?
I didn't do it, Dad.
And that's the truth?
Yes, sir.
It's good enough for me. Through here. And this is it. Go ahead.
Frank?
Yeah. Well, then suppose you tell me what this is all about.
The shoes that your boy is wearing there. You got them for him?
That's right. Had them made to order.
Where?
Place back east in Maine.
You know if anyone else has a pair of them?
No, as far as I know, that's the only pair on the coast. Good tennis shoes. I used to wear them when I played.
Uh-huh.
What do they have to do with this?
Well, on each one of the thefts, we found a print from a shoe like that outside the window.
That doesn't mean that Alec was in them at the time.
How about it, Alec? You let anybody else use the shoes?
No.
Well, there's your answer.
Still doesn't come down to proof.
What night did your boy spend out of the house, Mr. McCarran?
I don't know. I guess he's gone on Friday most of the time.
Do you know where he goes?
Show, library. I don't keep a chain on him, Sergeant. I have complete trust in Alec.
Burglaries have been taking place on Friday nights.
Still entirely circumstantial.
Yes, sir, but it fits, doesn't it?
What's he supposed to have stolen?
Costume jewelry.
You mean 5 and dime stuff?
Yes, sir.
All right, there you are. You tell me why.
Sir?
Why'd Alex steal that? Now, look around, Sergeant. I just spent $1,500 on this room. Had it all redone. Alex got just about everything he wants. He gets a good allowance. If he needs any more money, he only has to come to me. There's no reason for him to steal.
Yes, sir, this is a nice room and all. What you say may be true, but the fact stays that the thefts are taking place.
Well, all right, then I'll put it on the line. I've got faith in my son. He's had all the things a boy could want, a good family, good home, all the things that count. Maybe there is a thief, but it isn't my son. I know that.
You got an explanation for the shoes for the Friday night?
No, I'll find one.
Maybe you can try for this, too, Mr. McCarran.
What?
Found these in the boy's closet. Box of cheap costume jewelry.
With the finding of the jewelry in Alec McCarran's room, the circumstantial case against him seemed to solidify. Although he denied any knowledge of the pieces, he was taken down to Georgia Street Juvenile and booked on suspicion of violation of Section 459 PC, delinquent. His father retained a lawyer immediately. The next day, the jewelry found at his home was shown to the victims, and they gave us a positive identification on each one of the pieces. A petition was filed, and the facts were presented to the juvenile court. Detention was requested. On Thursday, July 8th, Frank and I got back from the second floor after talking to the McCarran boy. He still admitted nothing about the burglaries.
I don't know. Maybe I'm starting to believe the kid.
He sure makes you wonder, doesn't he?
Sergeant Friday?
Yes, sir. How are you, Mr. McCarran?
Fine, thank you. I've got it, Sergeant. I got it right here.
Sir?
The way to show you that my son had no part in these burglaries.
All right, sir, go ahead.
Now, you say that all the thefts have taken place on Friday night, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And your big piece of evidence is the heels on his shoes, right?
Well, that's part of it, yes, sir.
All right, then you can just turn them loose.
I beg pardon?
I remembered it last night. I couldn't get to sleep and got to thinking. I remembered.
All right, go ahead.
Alec's shoes get a lot of use. He plays a lot of tennis, wears his shoes all the time.
Yes, sir.
The soles and heels wore out. We had to send them back east and have them resold. Sent them back on May 5th. Didn't get them until May 19th. Now, there's 2 Fridays in there, Sergeant. If the shoes were gone, Alec couldn't have done the burglaries.
Right?
Yeah. Well, I hope now that you'll admit that you made a mistake.
Well, if we have, Mr. McCarran, we'll sure tell you.
Well, you can take my word for it. Alec had no part in any of this. He's a good boy. He's honest. He's smart. If he was going to steal anything, if it really came to that, he wouldn't risk his neck for a few cheap beads.
Doesn't seem so, does it?
Here you are, Joe.
All right.
Well, what about it? What'd you find out?
Just a minute, sir.
Well, you're going to release my son now?
No, sir.
Well, if the shoes were out of state, then he couldn't have committed the thefts.
Mm-hmm.
Month of May, 2 Fridays in that month.
Yes, sir, that's right. No burglaries on either one of them.
listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
Seemed like every attempt the father made to prove the innocence of Alec McCarran only turned up another piece of evidence against him. The date for his hearing in juvenile court was set, and Frank and I talked with Mr. Bowman of the probation department on the preparation of the case. From the evidence, it appeared that the boy would be found guilty. We questioned and re-questioned him. We went over every facet of his story, but he still stuck to it. At no time did he change any part of it. Saturday, July 10th, Frank and I checked into the office.
Boy, it's going to be another scorcher.
Yeah, probably over 90 again, huh?
Yeah, over 90. More than that, Joe. I'm going over to Broadway at noon today. Pick up a pair of those shoes I was telling you about.
Mm-hmm, with the tan suit.
Ones with the holes in it. Not the suit, the shoes. You know, finally decided last night I need them more than a new spinning reel. I'm going to get them.
Well, that's good.
Anything for us?
Yeah. Looks like we might be wrong about that McCarran boy.
What do you mean?
Another housebreaking last night. Footprints all over the place.
Yeah?
All of them with the same heel print. We left the office. We went over to the crime lab. Ray Pinker showed us photographs that had been made at the scene. The marks were identical with those we'd found before. The size of the shoe, the way they were worn, everything matched. The information blew the case against Alec McCarran sky high, and both Frank and I felt a little relieved. The probation department was informed what had happened, and the boy was released immediately. Frank and I drove him to his home, where he was reunited with his family. We obtained the name and address of the shoe company who had made the tennis shoes, and the radiogram was sent to the police department in that city requesting all information on similar shipments to the Los Angeles area. We got the answer the next morning. Only one other pair had been sent to the Southland. Those had been sent to a Mr. Homer Ellsworth, care of General Delivery, Ventura, California. We checked the name through records and identification, but we were unable to come up with a record for him. The name was sent to George Brereton, CII, Sacramento. At 11:15, Frank and I drove up to the beach city. We talked to the postmaster and several of the clerks. They told us that several pieces of mail had been delivered to Ellsworth. Although none of the people could tell us where the man lived, they were able to give us a good description of him. They went on to say that they'd gathered from conversations that he resided someplace in Los Angeles. We left word with them that the local police department be called in the event the man returned, and then Frank and I drove back to the city. We checked the name again, this time with the description. No make. One of the outstanding things in the way the man was described was that the little finger from his left hand was missing. This was checked through the oddity file without result. The additional information was forwarded to Brereton. We checked with burglary detail, but they had nothing on the suspect. 8:40 p.m. We drove out to the McCarran house and talked again to his family.
I knew it all the time.
Yes, sir?
Got a boy like Alec after 16 years, you know pretty much what he will, what he won't do.
Yes, sir. A couple things we'd like to go over with you.
Sure, anything you want. Just let me know.
All right.
Caught the person who was really responsible for this?
That's what we want to talk to you about.
That's fine. Go right ahead.
Now, the description we've got of the man is that he's about 50, around 5'8", 150 pounds, dark hair, gray at the temples, wears glasses, has a mustache. Got a finger missing from the left hand.
Mm-hmm. What's his name?
Well, that we don't know, sir. That's why we're asking you.
No name at all.
Well, he's used Homer Ellsworth. We don't think that's his true name.
It isn't.
Sir?
Name's not Ellsworth. It's Fallon. Homer Fallon.
You know him?
Sure. He worked for me for 10 years. Sort of a handyman. Does our jobs around the house.
You know where we can reach him?
Not sure about that.
What do you mean?
He quit yesterday morning.
We got Fallon's address. We left for the place right away. It was a small house in the South Hollywood area. The front yard was overgrown, and several of the pickets from the fence were missing. It was a 1938 Chevrolet truck parked in the driveway. Frank and I left our unit and walked up to the front door.
Watch your step, Joe.
What?
Ward lives there.
Oh, yeah, sir.
I think you'd have a light out here, wouldn't you?
I get it.
Don't hear anything.
Well, he must be here. They're taking the truck, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Homer Fallon?
Who are you?
Police officers who want to talk to you.
Come on in. Sit down. Just fixing a little dinner.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Spaghetti. Want some?
No, sir.
Pretty good. That kind that's all cooked. Just drop it in the water and heat up the sauce. Pretty good. Sure you don't want none?
No, thank you.
Mm-hmm. How about you?
No, sir.
Well, wait a minute. I'll turn down the fire and we can talk.
All right, sir.
You gotta watch it pretty close. Gets too cooked and you gotta eat it with a spoon, not blood that way.
No, sir.
Oh, you've had it, have you?
You want to come in here, sir?
Yeah, I'll be right with you. Open up the sauce and I'll be right there.
Maybe better come in now.
What?
Come on in. Sit down. Go ahead. Sit down.
You haven't got no right to tell me what to do in my own house. No right at all.
Frank, better check the place, huh?
Yeah.
Here, you got no right to go through my things.
We can come back with a warrant if that'd be easier for you.
Go ahead and do it. You got no right.
There's something you don't want me to find?
No. I got nothing to hide.
Then you won't mind, will you?
I will, too. You guys come in here while I'm having dinner, causing a lot of trouble. You got no right to do this. I'm an old man. I can't take a lot of excitement.
And why don't you save us all a lot of time?
What?
You know why we're here. You know what we want.
I do?
Sure you do.
Why don't you tell us?
Big thing over nothing. That's all it is.
Can you tell us about it, will you?
All the stuff put together wasn't worth $1.50. None of it. Not even $1.50.
Well, then why'd you do it?
Wanted to get the kid in trouble. All his life, he's had what he wanted. All his life. Different from me. I never had nothing.
You put the things we found in his room, did you?
Yeah. I knew you'd get to him. Wanted to sew it up. Make it look good. I put him there.
Why'd you do the burglary last night?
Well, I got to feeling sorry for the kid sitting in jail.
You ever been arrested, fella?
Well, a long time ago.
Where?
Back east. Vag charge. I was just a kid, working my way out here. Took me off a freight. I sat in a can overnight, and then they let me go. Give me a floater out of town. I got sorry for the kid. Figured if there was another stealing while he was in jail, you'd let him go.
All right. Get your coat, will you?
Yeah.
Where is it?
Closet there.
Wait there, I'll get it.
The only one in there.
I got it. Here you go.
Thanks. You know, I was sorry right after. I didn't want to hurt the kid. He's really not too bad. Didn't want to cause him no trouble.
You did pretty good, didn't you?
Suppose so. Well, want to go?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot the spaghetti. You got to turn it off.
Right.
I guess it doesn't make any difference anyway.
What was that, sir?
Don't make any difference about you taking me to jail.
Is that right?
Yeah, I cooked the spaghetti too long.
Homer Lindsay Fallon was tried and convicted of burglary in the first degree, 6 counts, and received punishment as prescribed by law. Burglary in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment for a period of not less than 5 years in the state penitentiary.
Dragnet is a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned a robbery detail. You get a call that a holdup man has hit one of the larger auction houses in your city. You have a good description of him. Your job, find him.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, February 1st. It was raining in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. My name's Friday. I was on my way into the office, and it was 8:07 a.m. when I got to room 27A. Robbery squad room.
Morning, Joe.
Hi.
The rain let up?
No. It's still coming down. Doesn't look like it's going to stop either.
Sure got it out in the valley.
Well. Anything in the book for us?
No. Talked to Skipper. He's got a couple things for us to check out.
What do we got, do you know?
A bank job last week. Stats office came up with a list of possibles. We're supposed to help check them out.
All right.
Here's the list. A couple on there we know, too.
When did Rocky get out?
A couple of months ago.
Can't stay out of trouble, can he?
I called the adult authority. They say he's got a job working 9 to 6.
Well, he'd still find a way to get out.
Yeah.
Well, let's get on it.
Okay. You think I'll need my rubbers? What? My rubbers. You think I'll need them?
I don't know. They're your feet. It's raining pretty hard.
Well, I guess I better take them. Faye'll get sore if she finds out I'm not wearing them.
I didn't hear you.
I say Faye'll get sore if she finds out I'm not wearing them.
Oh.
I get home, she looks at the soles of my shoes. If they're wet, she knows I left the overshoes in the locker. She gets real hacked, Joe.
Yeah. You gonna put them on now?
Yeah, I've walked outside, Joe.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sure hard to get on.
Are you about finished there?
Yeah.
I want to see Danny before he leaves.
What is it, something special?
No, I heard that he had a set of golf clubs for sale. I thought maybe I'd look at them.
Are you going to start playing golf?
No. I thought maybe I'd take a look at them. You know, I've been thinking maybe I ought to do something like that. Some kind of hobby. Golf isn't too expensive, is it?
Fishing, Joe.
What?
You ought to take up fishing. That's for you.
It is.
Sure, fishing. Out in the boat, fighting the unknown. With golf, you hit a ball and you know where it's going.
No, not me.
You know what I mean. With golf, you kind of know what's going to happen. But with fishing, there's always that mystery of what's going on at the other end of your line. You never know.
Yeah.
No, you don't, Joe. You never know what's going to take the bait. Might be a big school of white sea bass or yellowtail down there. Might even be a school albacore. No, fishing's for you, Joe.
You think so, do you?
Well, it's a little early yet, but you just hang on, old buddy. And tell you what, I'll take you out with me this year. Show you how it's done.
No, I don't think so. I heard about your fishing.
What do you mean?
Oh, Gene Patrick was telling me about how you robbed the bait tank, strung up the horse sardines, and took them home.
He's jealous, Joe.
He is.
Yeah. He wanted them.
Hot shot. I'll get it. You better hurry up. We got one to roll on.
Yeah?
Auction house out on Wilshire Boulevard.
Huh?
They were just hit. "8:37 a.m. We arrived at the Charles Kane Auction Gallery. It was a large Spanish-type building located on the corner of Wilshire Boulevard and Gregory Drive. A radio card answered the call, and the officers from the unit were taking reports. The policeman at the door told us that his partner was making a check of the neighborhood to see if he could come up with any information for us. An ambulance had arrived, and the man at the door told us that the attendant was in the store taking care of one of the victims. We went in and talked to him.
Hey, watch it, huh? Feels like you stole my head in.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Kane. You fellas officers?
Yeah, that's right. Friday and Smith, Central Robbery.
All right, if we talk to him. Sure, I'm almost finished here.
Sure, you can talk to me. Go ahead, I'll tell you.
All right, sir. This is my partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Charles Kane. This is my place. I'm the one that was robbed.
Yes, sir, we understand.
This is Miss Morgan. I'm his leader policeman.
How do you do?
How are you?
Where's the other cops?
Sir?
Other fellas, the ones in the police car, where'd they go?
Well, they're outside, Mr. Kane.
Oh, you fellas with the guns, huh?
What's that, sir?
The guns, the big ones. You know, the ones who's going to handle it?
Well, I guess you could say that.
Yeah, well, suppose you want me to tell you all about it, huh?
Yes, sir, if you would, please.
Yeah, been in the auctioning business a long time. This is the first time a thing like this has ever happened. First time.
Uh-huh.
Came in this morning early. Came in to check the consignment from Santa Barbara. Loading new stuff. Only it's old.
Yes, sir.
We bought it up. It's supposed to be here this morning. I came in the office. Yeah, right in here. Fellow was standing back at the door.
soon as I came in, he clouded me on the head. Whacked me a good one. Hey, wait. Take it easy with that bandage, will you?
Yes, sir, I'm sorry.
You like that fella Ichabod?
Who's that?
Ichabod, you know, from Washington Irving. Ichabod Crane. Fella rode around carrying his head under his arm. Yes, sir, I feel like I could do that. Grand writer, Irving. Read almost all his stuff. Grand.
Yes, sir. What time did you come in?
Yeah, grand. Oh, it must have been about 7:45.
Wonder if you can give us a description of the man.
Sure. Don't you want me to tell you the rest of the story first?
Well, if we can get a description of the man, Mr. Kane, we can get a broadcast out on him.
Yeah. He robbed the safe, too, you know.
Yes, sir, we understand.
Cleaned it right out.
How tall was the man, sir?
About 6'2". Big fella. Well, might even been bigger.
How about his weight?
Big there, too. Maybe a couple 100 pounds.
Did you see the man, Miss Morgan?
Well, yes, he was here when I came in.
Yeah, but I'm the one he hit.
Well, he was back here with Mr. Kane when I came in. The man must have just hit him.
Did you get a pretty good look at him?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he hit me. He gave me a real whack right on the head.
Yes, sir.
This fellow's covered it all up with bandages. You'd be able to see it. A real whack.
Yes, sir, we understand.
Think that'll take care of it, Mr. Kane?
Well, huh?
Yes, sir. I suggest you see your doctor, though.
Yeah, why?
We usually recommend it, sir.
Oh, yeah. Well, thanks, young fellow.
Yes, sir. About the man's coloring, Mr. Kane.
That ambulance fellow been real nice.
Yes, sir. Can you tell us about the man who held you up?
Light complected.
Did he wear glasses?
No, didn't have glasses.
Well, he had them on when I saw him.
Yeah? Well, he didn't when he whacked me.
What kind of glasses were they, ma'am?
Well, they're the ones with the plastic rims, sort of a light color.
Must have taken them off when he hit me.
What was he wearing?
Gray suit. Business suit. Gray.
Was he clean shaven, do you remember?
Well, yes, he had a dark beard, though. Real heavy, but he was clean shaven.
I'll get this out, Joe.
Right.
Did he have any accent when he talked, Mr. Kane?
No, just hauled off and hit me as soon as I came in the door. Didn't say a word. Just whacked me on the head.
Did he speak to you, Miss Morgan?
Well, yes, he did. He told me to keep quiet and nothing would happen.
Did you notice anything in his speech?
No, he talked just like anybody else.
Okay, you called him, Frank?
Yeah.
Miss Morgan?
Yes, sir.
What time did you get in this morning?
Oh, it must have been about 8, maybe a couple of minutes after.
Did you see the hold-up man when you came in?
No, not right away. He wasn't out in the gallery.
Uh-huh.
I came into the office here. This is where I work most of the time. That's when I saw him. He was standing right over there. Mr. Kane was on the floor, and the robber was standing next to him. I guess he'd just hit Mr. Kane.
Uh-huh. What did he say to you?
Oh, I told you. He said for me to keep quiet and nothing would happen to me.
Did he say anything else?
No, he didn't.
Didn't say much to me either. Just whacked me.
Would you know the man if you saw him again, Miss Morgan?
Yes, I would.
So would I.
All right, sir. Well, we'd like both of you to come downtown and look at some pictures, if you would.
Oh, got him, huh? Fast work.
Oh, no, sir. No, we haven't got him in custody yet, but we may have a picture of him downtown.
Yeah? How'd that be?
Well, if he's done this kind of thing before and he's been arrested, we'd have a record on him.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Kane.
Yeah?
What kind of a burglar alarm system do you have here in the store?
Oh, it's right there on the window.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you see those little strips of foil? Electricity runs through them. They get broke and it rings the bell out in front of the store.
You're not on a system, though, are you? Huh?
Oh, no. Always figured that if the bell went off, the cops would be here soon enough.
I see.
He must have found out some way to turn the thing off, though. It didn't ring at all. I'd heard it if it had. I'd heard it sure.
Do either of you people smoke?
Yeah, both of us.
Got out the broadcast, Joe. Good. Call the crime lab. They're on the way.
All right, fine.
I took another look at the front door. Whoever broke in sure knew his job real clean. You got anything?
Well, we don't know yet. Either of you two people smoked this morning here in the office?
Not me. Sure could use a cigarette, though. Calm me down.
There you are, Miss Kane.
How about you, miss?
Thank you.
Why all these questions about smoking? I want to know if you're going to catch that man. There was over $1,200 in that safe, and I had a couple of hundred on me. He took all that. What's you asking all these silly questions for?
Well, there's some cigarettes here on the floor. Looks like the hold-up man must have waited for you two to get here.
Yeah, probably did. Broke into the safe and then waited for me to come in. Dirty sneak.
What do you got, Joe?
Some paper matches here. Might be some.
Yeah?
You take a look at them.
Yeah. Huh, what's that? Some print on that one. You read what it says?
23 miles to Wilming. The rest of it's burned off.
Probably Wilmington.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you got something? A clue?
Well, we don't know yet, sir.
Here's another one, Joe.
Can you read it?
Yeah. This one's almost whole. Only the tip's been burned.
What's it say?
Well, it says 14 miles to Santa Monica.
What was it?
14 miles to Santa Monica. Look like matches from a motel, maybe a hotel, something like that.
Might be a restaurant.
You guys won't have any trouble at all. Getting the fella, I mean.
Sir?
Yeah, simple. Just find a place that's 23 miles from Wilmington, 14 miles from Santa Monica. Don't you get it? Find that place, and your man will be waiting for you. You get it? Yeah, simple. Find that place, and your man will be there.
9:20 a.m. The crime lab arrived and went over the place. The burned matches and the cigarette butts were retained for evidence. Pictures were taken of their position relative to the safe. We continued to question the two victims. From their stories, we were able to piece together what had happened. They were both asked to go with us to the robbery division to check through the mug books for an identification of the holdup man. From their descriptions of the man, we were able to come up with an accurate idea of what he looked like. We contacted the artist up in the crime analysis division and asked him to start a composite drawing of the thief. The crime lab called and gave us additional information on the matches. From the distances printed on them, we were able to get an idea where the original matchbook might have come from. The intersection of the lines was in the Hollywood area. 3:15 p.m., we drove over to talk to the manager of the company who had made the matches, a Mr. Tom Holger.
Come on in.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Sit down.
That's your fine.
Now, what can I do for you?
We're police officers, Mr. Holger. My name's Friday. This is my partner, Frank Smith.
How do you do? Well, what can I do for you? I hope it's nothing I've done wrong.
No, sir, nothing like that. We'd like some help if you can give it to us.
Sure, always glad to cooperate with the police. I never know when I'm going to need them.
All right, sir. We have some matches here, Mr. Holger. We understand they were made by your firm.
Oh, matches, huh?
Yes, sir. We'd like to know who they were made for, if you could tell us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we made them. Sort of an exclusive design.
Can you tell us who you made them for?
I'll check the book. Probably have them in there. Now, let me see. I think that's model 4XY892. Yes. Yes, here's the book. It's probably in here.
Huh. A lot of matches.
Oh, yes, we make quite a few.
They all different?
Most of them. Some are the same. You know, a customer sees a sample he likes and orders the same thing for his business. We make a few changes so that it fits the line he's in, you know. Neither one of you fellows is collectors, are you?
Beg pardon?
Collectors. Either one of you guys save matchbooks?
Oh, no, sir.
Neither one of you?
No, sir.
Oh, it's a good hobby. I've got quite a collection. Guess maybe maybe 7,000.
That many?
Oh, yes. Some of the collectors have more. I've only been saving for about 5 years.
Well, working in a place like this makes collecting easier, huh?
Oh, no, you can't do that.
Huh?
Well, I can't take them out of these samples.
I can't.
Oh, no, that wouldn't do at all. You have to find them. Wouldn't be fair to take advantage of my position to get the books. Oh, no, not fair at all.
Wouldn't?
Oh, no, I take trips. Drive all over to get ones. Last summer, I went back to the Smithsonian Institute. Now, they've really got a collection. Oh, it's just beautiful.
Is that right?
Oh, my, yes, beautiful. Had a wonderful trip. Got a lot of new books. My wife did very good, too. Came back with 2 shopping bags full of sugar.
How's that?
Sugar. She saved sugar cubes. You know, with the wrappings to tell where the cubes came from?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir, I've seen them. I know what you
She saves them. 2 shopping bags full. Wonderful trip.
About the matches, sir. I wonder if you could tell us.
Oh, yes. Well, here you are. I think this is it. Now, let me see the ones you have.
Here you are, sir.
Mm-hmm. Now, let me see. Same one. Yes, that's it. You know, we have guys coming in here all the time to see if they can't get some books for their collection. I won't go for it, though. The dodges they use. Some of the stories would really make you laugh if you didn't know what they were trying to do.
Yes, sir. Now, about these matchbooks here.
What? Oh, well, I try to tell them. I go out and get the matches fair. Don't come around here and try to do things the easy way. Go out and get them fair. That's what I tell them.
Can you tell us where these matches came from?
Oh, all over the world. They come from all over.
No, sir. The matches we brought in. These.
Oh, yes. Oh, my. No. These came from Hollywood. I meant the others, the ones for collecting.
Yes, sir. Can you tell us where in Hollywood?
Well, let me see. Here, there's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, 6 places that use these matches. Have a different cover on them, of course.
Well, anyway, you can tell us where these particular matches came from?
No, not when they're burned. If I could see the color of the head, I might be able to tell.
A big part?
Well, we put a different color head on the matches.
Oh, I see.
Different place, different color.
Mm-hmm. Any way you could tell from these, though?
Well, could be done. Take some time.
Uh-huh.
Analyze the burned portion. tell what the chemical content is in the head. Tell that way. It takes some time, though.
About how long?
Well, a couple of hours, maybe a little longer.
Well, how much would knowing the color help?
Oh, you can see here in the book. There are 2 with red heads, 2 with green, and 2 with white. Be able to narrow it down to 2 for you.
Well, that's not necessary, Mr. Holger.
Be glad to do it.
Well, we'll drop the matches by our crime lab. They can run the test, and then we'll call you back.
All right, that'll be fine.
Wonder if you could give us the address of the places that use the matchbooks.
Oh, sure. I got them right here. I'll make a copy for you.
Sure, appreciate it.
Oh, no trouble at all. Say, I was just thinking.
What's that, sir?
You fellas wouldn't like to start a collection, would you? I could let you have a few books to get you started.
Well, sir.
Wouldn't be cheating. Just a few.
No, sir. Thanks just the same.
Well, take some of these along anyway. Loads of fun.
Huh?
Sugar cubes, all the way from Des Moines.
We got the list of places using the type of book matches found at the scene of the robbery. We told Tom Holger that we'd be back if we needed any more help, and then we left. 5:30 p.m. We called the office and talked to Sergeants Murphy and Rafferty. We gave them the addresses of the 3 motels and asked them to check them out. 6:46 p.m. We started to check out the 3 motels on our list. The rain continued to fall. The Weather Bureau's report indicated that it would keep up for another 12 hours. At the first 2 places, we got no new information on the holdup man. 7:29 p.m. We checked at the last place on our list.
Yeah?
Police officers would like to talk to you, sir.
Oh, sure. Come on in.
Thank you.
Boy, it's sure coming down, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Now, what's all this about? Something wrong?
No, we just like your help.
Nothing I can do. Say, you guys like a cup of hot coffee? Take the chill out of your bones.
No, sir, no thanks.
Got it all ready. Won't be no trouble.
No, sir. Thanks just the same.
Well, how about your partner?
No, thanks.
All right. Now, what can I do for you?
We'd like for you to take a look at a picture here and tell us if you've seen the man.
Sure.
Frank, you have the sketch there?
Oh, yeah. Got it right here. A little wet.
Uh-huh.
Get some water you got in my pocket.
Yeah. What do you want this guy for? Something special?
We'd like to talk to him.
Yeah, sure. Didn't mean to pry. Just wondering if it was a big job or maybe a bad check, something like that.
Uh-huh.
There you are.
Seen him before?
This his description down here at the bottom?
That's right.
Robbery, huh?
Yes, sir.
Big deal.
You seen him?
I'm not sure. Description fit a lot of people.
Uh-huh. Does it fit anyone registered here?
Yeah, at least 4 guys.
7:36 p.m. We continued to talk to the manager of the motel. He went through the registration cards of the 4 men who answered the description of the holdup man that we were after. We were able to eliminate 2 of them. In the manager's company, we left to check out the other 2 occupants. Cabin number 26 was registered to a John Keller. He had given his address as 1624 Shannon Street, San Francisco.
There's nobody here. You want me to open the door?
Better let us do it, huh?
Figure he might give you some trouble?
We don't know, sir.
I hope not. I run a quiet place here. I like to keep it that way.
All right, would you just stand over there, sir?
Sure. Not here.
When'd you see him last?
Well, I didn't see him at all today. Last time was yesterday evening. Came by to see if there's any phone messages for him.
You say who was going to call him?
No. Kind of impressed me like he was just asking to kill time.
Uh-huh. Better check the closet, huh?
Yeah, I didn't check it good at first. I will now.
How long has this Keller been here?
A couple of days, that's all. Just a couple of days. I didn't know he'd cause any trouble. I wouldn't let him in if I'd have known that.
Sorry, sir.
Joe?
Yeah.
See, man?
Sure. You got something?
Yeah. Pile of dirty laundry here. Take a look.
Yeah. Burglar tools. The burglar tools were not disturbed until they could be checked for fingerprints. We asked the manager of the motel to go back to the office and act as if nothing had happened when the suspect came in. He told us the motel had a switchboard telephone, and we asked him to ring us in the event the office called. I called the city hall and told them where we were. I also asked that another team of men be sent out to help us with a stakeout. Then Frank and I settled down to wait for John Keller. The rain kept up. We waited. 8:30. No sign of the suspect. The office called to say that they were sending Stewart and Creasy out to relieve us at midnight. 9:30. 10:15 p.m.
Oh, I sure wish we could smoke.
Yeah.
Wonder what he's doing out on a night like this.
Yeah. Sure coming down, isn't it?
Yeah. Hope Fay and the kids are all right.
Is there anything wrong?
No, but once in a while when it rains real heavy like this, the storm drain across the street gets clogged. Water backs up, fills the street, you know.
Yeah. Well, we only got another half hour to go here.
Yeah. Glad to get some dry socks on.
Hold it. Huh? Somebody coming out there. All right, Keller, stand still.
Who are you? What are you doing in my place?
Police officers, you're under arrest.
Come on. Get up. Come on. Get on your feet. What do you want me for? I haven't done anything.
Those your tools in the closet?
You guys been snooping around.
Better shake them, Frank.
Yeah. I got a gun. You'll find it anyway. I got a gun.
All right, give it over.
38, sir.
I got it.
Let's get out of here, huh? You got nothing on me. We call a lawyer. You'll be turning me loose in a couple hours. Hold still, killer. Yeah. What do you got here? Pretty wise. You guys don't miss a trick.
No. 32 strapped to his leg, Joe.
What are you doing with that, Keller?
I'm saying nothing until I see a lawyer.
Where's your wallet?
In my coat.
Is that where you keep your money?
You know a better place?
All right, take it out.
Lousy cops think they own you.
You ever done any big time?
I know what you're talking about.
All right, come on, Keller. You know what's going on. You ever done any big time?
Yeah.
Where?
Back east.
For what?
Armed robbery.
You on parole now?
None of your business.
Now, look, we're going to find out anyway. Save yourself some time and us some trouble. Answer the question.
So I'm on parole. What's that prove?
Your parole officer know you're out here?
Yeah.
Didn't he tell you it's against the law for an ex-con to have a gun?
He told me.
And how come you got two of them?
I drove out here. You need protection on a trip like that.
How much money you got in your wallet there?
I don't know.
About how much?
I haven't got the slightest idea.
I always know how much I got.
Maybe it makes a difference to you.
Count it.
What for?
Count it.
50, 100, 150.
Put it out on the table with us. We can both count it. Now let's try it again.
4, 7. Comes out $3,053. You want me to count the change in my pocket, too?
Where'd you get the money?
I worked for it.
Where?
None of your business.
All right, Keller, let's go downtown. Frank, you want to get the tools?
Yeah.
Pick up the money, Keller. Put it back in your wallet.
Look, suppose I just leave it there and walk out of here. Wouldn't that make it all right?
You know better than that. Now put it back in your wallet.
It doesn't make any difference anyway. You guys got nothing on me, nothing you can hold me on.
Yeah.
Come on, Keller. Your hands, Marge. I'll get the tools, Joe.
Right.
Hey, how about my coat?
Your what?
A coat.
All right, here. Now let's go.
Guys are sure going to feel pretty silly.
Is that right?
Sure, you got nothing on me. My lawyer will have me out in no time. He's a good lawyer.
Yeah, well, he's going to have to be.
Huh?
To get you out of this one.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On June 14th, trial was held in Department 97, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. John Rudolph Keller was tried and convicted of robbery in the first degree, 1 count, and burglary in the first degree, 6 counts, and received punishment as prescribed by law. Robbery in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 5 years. Burglary in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment for a period of not less than 5 years in the state penitentiary.
You have just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.